Although
Okay.
I'm sure we have like 20 episodes of me saying something horrible.
Oh yeah.
Just about every episode.
Definitely.
Don't mind that.
Okay. A little bit of that. And a little bit of that. And a little bit of that. Alright. So, who... Well, just as a general thing, stats. Is anybody not taking the default stat array and wants to roll the bones?
This guy.
Okay.
Don't roll them bones. It's
Look,
dangerous.
I got practice from last time.
Yeah. Oh, I recall.
I spent a whole week thinking about how that works out.
Marinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let me just get 2d6 going here for you.
Well, yeah. So it'll be 4d6.
All right.
For stats, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Follow my lead.
What-
So you roll 4d6, drop the lowest 6 times, and then you can put those points in whatever attribute you want: Constitution, Strength,
You
etc.
got it. I
All
understand.
right. So
now.
I'll write these down as you go.
Can you? Okay. Can you give me that array first? Can you paste that array so I can see what I?
Gunt.
What you're rolling against?
No, not when I'm rolling
You like
against what the
That's
base
good.
numbers are.
That's real good. Is
I
that you, Jeff?
just-
The
Yep.
base numbers won't matter if you're rolling, my friend, unless
All
you
right.
don't want to roll.
Let's just
just
fucking
do
do it. Boom.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's a great start. That's a 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many of these do I get?
You do 6 total.
2.
The fuck.
Oh, that's not so good.
Okay.
3.
Good. 10. Well, it's a 10, and then a 10,
4.
and then a 13. It's pretty good so far.
5.
And then a 14. It's pretty damn good so far.
6. Oh, that one's
Ooh,
not
12.
so good.
That is, I think, a much higher average than what you would have gotten.
From that base array?
From that base array.
Yeah.
Are those TeamSpeak links popping in? Gotta turn that damn
Hmm?
sound off.
Just
Where
one.
these sounds are coming from. Okay. So you've got those points. You can, on your sheet,
Fucking great.
you see like the little shield shit thing. You can click the shield like where it next to right now it says Charisma 8 -1.
Oh, yep, I see. Yeah.
So I'm going in and unlocking them all, but basically like this thing's a little more simple, we'll say, than the D&D one, where you just have to like manually like change the value at the end.
Okay.
Um,
And
So-
can you answer me this? What's a typical paladin? Like charisma and
Ooh.
strength, right?
Yeah, so if you want, so basically, like, here's a real thing for everybody. On that thing, there's that section called moves, where there's basic moves and special moves.
Yeah.
These are like, so in this game, there's like no turns, there's no like attack action or move action. Moves are just like the metric for everything. And everyone's got basic moves. Hack and slash is basically doing a melee attack. Volley's a ranged attack, or like sometimes like a throwing dagger. Defy danger's like, I'm trying to avoid a trap. I'm trying to out-talk this guard. Depending on like what you're doing, a different stat will apply. Spout lore's like you just spouting some bullshit, and then if you roll good, that's you can basically check and like or prove that it's right. Parlaying is parlaying. Discern realities is kind of like tracking something, knocking on a hollow wall panel, that kind of stuff. Everyone's got these basic moves, and then you've got class moves. And so every move has a stat tied to it, like hack and slash is roll plus strength. So you might want to look at your starting moves for Paladin real quick. It's typically
It's all charisma based.
wisdom or charisma, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Charisma.
Okay, I gotta hunt down. I think I.
Wait, how do you find that out?
Facebook.
Some dungeon world thing. Here, I'll
The
do you-
website, right?
yeah, I'll
Oh,
paste it
from the
for you.
wiki?
Yeah.
Oh, alright.
1 second.
But you're just looking at your starting moves?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna throw that 50. Ooh, I can hear myself.
You can't like make this character sheet wider?
I
It's
guess
getting cut
not.
off. Oh.
Is it getting cut off? Well, you can mouse
Yeah,
wheel
my
up and
stats.
down. Mouse wheel up and down on there. You can make it longer, I think, but not wider.
Yeah. I
You could
don't know.
you could just type con instead of constitution. Like
Oh, is it editable?
yeah, you can unlock and tweak all that stuff.
The fuck?
Oh, I thought that was
shit.
somebody knocking on the door.
That was trains from the music.
This is the police.
Okay.
So how come my con is so high instead of charisma?
What do you mean
Just-
on this sheet?
Yeah, just cause.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. These were all just like template sheets. There's no real rhyme or reason to what the values are there. But you have those new 6 values, and you can put them wherever you want.
And when I click the shield, do I plop it in the thing that's below or the dice string?
So maybe,
Or up at the top.
maybe I can share my screen in Google Hangouts real quick. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about.
I just don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah. So yeah, this is like where we have to get a little more old school. So like if you click these little shields, they pop up these windows. You can unlock or lock them.
Which shield?
The
Where's your mouse?
little buttons next to the stats, and they pop open these little windows. So I've got like for instance strength. I'll click strength, and if you change your value to like 12, you would do that, and then the you'll have to keep the
mod, right?
the attribute thing open, ability score modifier table thing, because it's a little bit different than D&D as far as the scale. So like a 9 to 12 is 0, so you would just put like 0 in there and then mod 0.
Okay.
And that just streamlines things later. You don't have to like do all that stuff, but you may as well if you're combing through it. And then you can lock it when you're done. Just tweaks it. What that mod thing does is, so like if you're like, oh, make a constitution roll, if you click this little plus minus button, it puts this modifier on in the bottom here, and then when you roll, it'll automatically add that and then remove the modifier from like your sort of hotbar.
And are all these pre-gen sheets like filled out in terms of like hit points and all that stuff? That's all.
I don't know if that's entirely right. So what we're really going to be doing is following this character. If you type character creation,
Yeah,
choose
that's what I'm
a
looking
class,
at right now.
choose a race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so choose stats.
But it says set max HP. Your maximum HP is your class's base plus your constitution score. What's
Yep,
your
so-
class's base?
Okay, so for instance, if for you doing a cleric, I'll just click the whole thing. You've got all these things on your class that you can go through, like pick a name, pick a look, and you know, it's like pick one item from each of these lists. Your maximum HP as a cleric is 8
plus
Constitution,
Okay.
and in this game, when it says the full word like that, it's the raw value. So if your Constitution's 12, it's 12 plus 8. But your hit points never change unless your Constitution changes.
Or you take damage, right?
Well, yeah, I mean your max hit points.
Oh yeah. Okay, so 8 plus 16 is 24. So
Yep.
Is that health?
Yeah, that'll just be health.
Oh, okay.
Think of this as like somewhat less automated, like D&D is in here, and more just like at the table, fill out your sheet for reference.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
fine. I'm just curious. I don't know if health and hit points are the same thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude,
Klug,
you
is this you rolling?
No.
Stats? Oh.
I'm rolling to see how bad I would do.
Oh.
And currently it'd be pretty bad. But I'm glad I didn't roll.
Well, you got all those rules out of the way.
Some of
You're
these
glad
just
you didn't
hover
roll?
Dude,
That's like one of the most
here's-
amazing roll
Yeah.
sets ever.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah,
That's
you did good.
awesome.
You gotta drop the lowest.
Oh yeah, true. But still, that's like a 9, a 16, an 11, a 13, a 14, and a 14. That's pretty fucking good.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, it's too
Alright, I'll
late.
take those. I'll take those.
You don't get to do that, my friend.
No, I know.
Are you using a pre-gen, Jay, or are you doing something you made?
What are you talking about?
Like, are
Oh,
you
for
using,
the
like,
adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I modded a pre-gen just because it had a lot of like good learn dungeon world type things in it.
Okay.
Hey, Fitty,
Yeah.
how important is weight?
Ugh, 9.
I mean, in this game it feels a lot more manageable to the point where I might actually like track it a bit, because everything is so abstracted in here. Like, you know, you get your starting gear and like your weight might be like 7, your max load might be like 15 or something. It's pretty simple to the point where it kind of keeps it interesting, where weight load could be interesting in terms of the story. I would say, like, for now, like, you know, just add your load. You should know exactly what it is once you pick your starting items. So there's not a lot of effort to go with that.
Alright, sorry.
Man, I rolled really fucking good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think you're...
Alright, I'm locking all these babies up.
Okay, are we filling out shit right now? Or are you
Yeah,
going
so
through
yeah,
it?
let me, oops. Let me stop sharing that.
Whose microphone is that?
I think it might be Casey's rubbing. So who needs help with character creation? Tag in.
I
Maybe.
Okay, let's go over to the Jeff here. So do you all have the wiki open?
do. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the two things, and you can open multiple tabs if you want, multiple windows, but you should be looking at your class and the character creation thing. So for Jeff, if you're doing Thief, Thief is interesting in that you do not need to tell anyone else, but you can tell me in private what your real alignment is.
Oh, I did.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. It was just a fun little thing.
Cool.
So, look at that. And look at this.
Where's that at? Oh, there it is.
So, well, I'll use Jeff as an example here of a bit more in depth. So, like, if you start at the top of your class, you know, you all have names, I think, already. For the look, you can make up your own thing, but I do like how they kind of have like a few bullet points of like pick one of these things. Like, do you have shifty eyes? What kind of like hair or head feature do you have? Are you like always hooded?
Yeah.
Do you have messy hair?
Okay.
Where can I put that stuff though? Notes?
Yeah, where do we...
So on the
Oh,
side,
appearance.
there's little side tabs under appearance or notes,
Really?
wherever you want. Yeah, it's like the last tab
Oh.
on the right. So you can
Notes.
all, and you can like again, you can make stuff up, you know, but the maximum hit points is based off of your stats. Are you going with the default stat array here, Jeff?
Instead of rolling for it?
Yeah.
I kind of want to roll for it.
Well then, let's roll.
Might
Dude, roll.
it.
might be
Don't do it.
terrible.
It's gonna be terrible.
I rolled fucking awesome.
Dude, but it's, like this game more than any, but like even in like D&D,
fun, though.
you know, it's what makes a character fun, man. Like not every character's like fucking Superman. Like you could have
can't all
really
be aliens.
you could have really shitty strength, and like anytime you go to like try to lift or do anything like super physical, it could be so many great opportunities there in terms of story cues. Also, our color palette at the top here is like so fucking brown and orange.
Yeah, it is.
It's ridiculous.
We're very warm colored.
Any objections to talking like the uncle from Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
Not at all.
Warm up.
If you can keep it up.
That's finding your character's voice.
All right, Jeff, you're thinking about stats. Dave, did you say you wanted to look at some stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. You are dwarf fighter.
Yeah.
You've already got your class, your race, your name.
So,
So what are you doing with like look and all that stuff? You got that shit worked out?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
He's got like friendly eyes and complexion, red braided beard,
Okay.
red hair,
Okay.
red braided beard and hair. He's missing an arm,
Okay.
but he's got like imagine How to Train Your Dragon, that the dude who keeps replacing his body.
Yeah.
Keeps replacing his body parts with
Okay.
with dwarvish
So
made.
you know a
things.
few good smiths. Did you decide on stats? Are you rolling or taking?
I'm not
default?
rolling. No, I'm just.
Did
taking
you
default.
assign stats yet?
I don't even know where or how to do that.
Okay, so I'll paste it in here.
I mean, it looks like it's already assigned.
Yeah, I'm
Put priority in like your most important
it
stat anyway,
should, but let's take a. Ooh, I don't know why I'm glad hammer. So that's the default array. Just want to double check. You've got a
I want
16 in strength, 15 in
Constitution.
con. That looks pretty
Yeah.
good. 13 dex. That looks pretty good. So the next one would be 12. Do you want to be more intelligent, more wise, or more charismatic? He almost sounds charismatic, unless
Yeah.
you have other ways of inspiring people.
Yeah, let's do charisma 12.
Okay, I like that. So I'm just gonna type it in since I have your shit open here. I'm gonna do
That's
12 and 0. Change your mod to 0.
And
And
then intelligence next, and then wisdom.
So intelligence would be 9.
Yeah.
Okay. 9 is.
I mean, he is
0,
a fighter.
And then wisdom.
Hey, so second question I have.
Yeah.
So the range of your weapon. What does
Yes.
having
Okay. So that is
closer reach
that is a
do?
great topic to bring up for everybody as well. Equipment in this game. So again, your class defines your damage. That's how good you are with like the weapons, basically. Other than like there being like magic or something special. Someone's dog's going crazy.
Dude, everything over here is
It's
really
on-
annoying.
it's on fire?
I'm gonna change the
It's okay.
entire sensitivity on.
Yeah.
Is that
no worries.
Blaine?
That's not. No, that's my neighbor's dogs.
Okay, so
What the
well,
fuck?
equipment tags. Let me pull up the wiki real quick. But essentially, your class defines your damage dice that you do, no matter the weapon. Every piece of equipment has certain tags. So if you go in and you type weapon tags, you'll see something can be forceful. If a weapon's forceful, that means it can knock someone back, knock them down. Something can have plus damage, which means like you have +1 damage when you damage rolls. Something can ignore armor. The way armor works in this game is if I hit you and you've got 2 armor, you take 2 damage off, kind of like how Palindor had that like damage reduction. Basically, anytime someone's got an armor value, you subtract the damage from it. Messy means that when you do damage, you do so in a very destructive way, ripping people and things apart. Piercing means that the weapon goes and ignores armor, whatever the piercing value is. So if you've got like 2 piercing, you ignore up to 2 points of armor. Precise rewards careful strikes. It means you can use dex instead of strength, kind of like, rogue or anyone who's dex heavy. Stun means that when you attack with it, you do stun instead of normal damage, or you can do stun damage. Throw does throwing, blah blah blah. So the main thing here, and then let me look at ranges actually. So hand is like you have to be within super close range. Close means within an arm's reach.
Does that mean that you have to be within that range in order to use your weapon? So
correct.
What happens if I'm in?
Hold the thought. So close means like within a foot or two. Like think of like a sword. Hand being more like a dagger or something, or your fists. Reach is up to like several feet away, probably like a halberd, like a big pole arm that you could swing and hit. Near and far are typically more for like ranged weapons. But what all of this means is that in terms of the story, I and you get to have a lot more fucking fun, because if you're a big dude with a huge halberd and you're swinging it around, and 3 little tiny fucking monsters close the gap on you and you have daggers, guess what? I don't care what you fucking say. You're not swinging a halberd that has like the pointy end on the end of a long pole and hitting these things that are now like on hand reach, hand range on you. So that's kind of like the idea of tags. Everything is there to basically paint the picture of what would really be happening. So again, like, if someone's got like a close weapon with like a sword, you could maybe like do something creative to try to like stab at the thing that's now gotten into hand range on you. But again, like something that's got reach, like a pole arm, you're gonna have a fucking hard time doing damage with that pole arm against something that managed to get that close to you with the pole arm weapon. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then like all the other stuff like messy, forceful, those are all like really, really fun things. And shit gets pretty real in Dungeon World. Like if you hit somebody, there's no like beating around the bush in D&D like where like you do 3 points of damage. Like if you hit someone with a forceful weapon and it's a really good hit, you probably took a limb off or did something very fucking serious. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. And then the same kind of applies for armor. Armor also has tags. Basically, if something's tagged clumsy, and you're not trained to wear armor, and you'd have something that would say so, you basically have a -1 ongoing to any rolls you do because you're wearing this fucking crazy heavy armor. There's a few other things like that, but that's the idea of tags and equipment in general. Okay, so back to your stats, since we've assigned them. You have for your maximum health as a fighter is 10 plus your total constitution value. So you have 25 health. I'll just put it in there since I'm looking at your sheet. And we already picked your race. I don't know.
Yeah, so I get to choose 2 enchantments. I'm for sure doing huge, which gives the messy and forceful modifiers.
Okay.
And I'm debating about, I don't know how important weight is, so there's like well crafted, it's dwarvish, gives you -1 weight. But,
I would say okay. Don't focus on that for now. Like I may factor in weight a little bit, but I wouldn't like let it limit you from picking something more interesting or fun for a dungeon crawl.
Okay,
type
then
adventure.
I'm stuck between versatile, which gives me another weapon range.
Okay.
So I'm choosing close for the hammer. So I could also
right.
do
So
hand.
anyone unaware, fighters have one of their starting moves is signature weapon. Like whether it's like a hand-me-down or like some sort of very unique weapon or something specially crafted. So he's crafting his signature weapon right now. Sorry, what were the last couple choices you had?
So I'm picking between versatile, which
Okay.
is like it gives me an additional range, or hold on 1 second.
Yep. Okay. Let's.
Neighbor was yelling, or glows in the presence of one type of creature. Like if it's an ancient weapon, I'm thinking it could be like, I don't know, it glows around things.
You got
but
those,
I don't know.
You got those runes.
Yeah.
But those could be anything. They could be style. Signature. Smith's signature.
I think for the sake of one-off, I'm gonna do versatility and just do hand and close ranges.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense for that hammer too. Okay. Alignment.
Neutral.
Neutral. So this is like, so for fighter, neutral, defeat a worthy opponent. So at the end of a session, if we decide that Gladhammer defeated a worthy opponent, you would get a point of XP. And that, let's talk about XP in this game real quick. Again, everything's abstracted. You need 9 to get to the next level. Anytime you fail a roll, and I'll talk about rolls in a minute, you gain 1 point of XP. Anytime you resolve a bond at the end of a session, you gain an XP. Anytime you fulfilled your alignment at the end of the session, you gain an XP. And that's the main thing. But rolls in this game are pretty much roll 2d6 and add a modifier. And the results have 3 possibilities. 6 or lower is a fail, which means you gain 1 XP from learning from how terrible you are. And then usually something you don't want will happen as a result of that. 7 to 9 is a success with a complication of some sort. Like if you're going to attack somebody, you get to hit them and do what you want, but there'll usually be a choice, like maybe you can do the damage or drop your weapon, or you can do the damage and they do a return attack on you and you take some damage. And then 10 plus is a success with no complications. I never roll or do anything. Everything I do is in reaction to you deciding to do something and doing the rolls. So if you imagine everything's a bit more cinematic in that there's no initiative, no turn order, everything just flows. Like there'll be what you could call soft sort of information cues, soft moves or hard moves. And a soft thing might be like, basically it's the setup, right? So I would say, you see that fucking guy, looks like he's chanting something weird, magical energy is filling his eyes, and that's kind of the setup. If you guys don't react to that after a while, that will become a hard move where, there will be a consequence for not having dealt with that. Other than that, everything is a reaction based on you. Like, I want to go do this, and then we see how you roll. If you got a 6 or lower, that means bad shit happens, and I get to have fun. If you get a 7 to a 9, there's usually some sort of branching, choice, lesser of two evils, up to you. And then 10 plus is success, exactly what you wanted to happen, or something along those lines. That's the general flow of things. It's going to be a lot different than what we're used to. Probably take some getting used to. But
how do you
keep
keep track to make sure that if we're all just shouting out what we want to do, how do you keep track about the monsters?
Well, that'll be fun. We'll still have a battle map that I'll use, but we won't I won't fucking analyze your movement rate. Everything will, it'll be our best judgment essentially. And there's a big emphasis in Dungeon World on the players being a lot more involved in the lore, the story, the mechanics in some ways. Like, you might say something about your god, and I'll say, well, I don't know. Does anyone know how resurrection spells work in this world? And there's a lot of focus on like improv, make crazy shit up, and it's funny or it's cool, whatever, and we kind of go with it. So there's a lot of that. I've just fucking around a little bit, with these loose sort of test games we did last week. I found like going full on improv was pretty terrible because things would just be pretty dead at times. So for this, I really wanted to try this sort of starter adventure, which had like a good, very malleable framework, but there's still plenty of ways to do whatever the hell we want. But there is like an initial setup for like why we're here, which we'll get to. So that's a lot of the main ideas. Dave. I did your hit points. Do you have any more character question stuff? You're working on your starting gear right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like
Any
scale
other stuff?
armor.
Okay. Yeah, just mark that stuff down. We'll do bonds last once everyone's character sheet's ready. Casey, haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing? Got some questions? Your
I think
mic's
he's not
muted.
there, right?
Can't
Oh no,
hear
he's there.
Oh, I think he's
I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to make this character sheet. I know what I
Okay.
want to put in here. I just don't know what to do.
Okay, so we pull up in Rex here.
You gonna roll it?
Name.
Yeah. So stats you want to roll? Or are you gonna take the array?
I get the base stats, the array stats, right?
Oh,
And,
so the barbarian has its own array, which is slightly different.
Mhm.
You can take that, or you can roll.
I'm gonna take that. They're good.
Okay, and so if I look at your sheet, you've got 16 in Constitution right now. Do you want it there, or do you want it in Strength? This is basically going to be what gives you a +2 on a roll. Yep.
Sure. Question. My race. Because we said earlier that we were gonna kind of figure it out as we go.
Oh, so the fun thing about barbarians is that barbarians can be any race, but they're all considered outsiders in some way. Like either you were just too fucking weird and you left your homeland, or your homeland somewhere like very far removed from society, something along those lines. So you have the outsider move, and I'll try to get into this dungeon world terminology of calling things moves. Moves are basically just like abilities. So your race as a barbarian outsider would be, I get to ask you something about your homeland or your travels, why you left, what you left behind at the beginning of each session, and you get 1 point of XP if you tell us a fun little sort of backstory thing about that you make up or have pre-written.
Oh yeah, I already have one.
Okay, great. So that's your racial ability or move.
Okay.
As a barbarian, you also have something a bit different in terms of a branching path with your starting moves. You can pick full plate and packing steel, where you get to ignore the clumsy tag on armor. So this is basically, do you want to be like a naked crazy guy, or do you want to be one that wears armor? Okay, so in that case, answer solved. You would take unencumbered and unharmed. So long as you're below your load and neither wear armor or carry a shield, you get a +1 to armor. So we already have a 1 on your defense right now.
Okay.
And again, everything is super abstracted and stripped down, so everyone starts with 0 defense, but you now have +1, so you have 1 defense.
So now my stats, the base stats, the way I want to allocate them is, I'm curious, because I'm a half dwarf. What are my racial passives or
there are none in this game, right? Like for a barbarian, outsider is your racial passive essentially. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The next thing that's kind of fun about a barbarian, and I really like barbarians in this game, they have something called Herculean appetite. Others may content themselves with just a taste of wine or dominion over a servant or two, but you want more. You have to choose 2 appetites from this list. You could always make one up. For the sake of the fun, I'll read them out. You've got pure destruction, power over others, mortal pleasures, conquest, riches and property, fame and glory. So you pick 2 of those, but the way this works mechanically is that while everyone normally rolls 2d6 plus their modifier to see, how their shit turns out, with a barbarian, if something you're doing is in pursuit of one of your 2 appetites, you roll a d6 and a d8, which potentially gives you a higher result. But if the d6 number is higher than the d8 number, you get a complication from me in a super fun way as a result of your lust or your craziness for your pursuit of that shit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So your appetites are.
I know. I want conquest.
Okay.
And then.
Gonna be rolling d6 and a d8 a lot.
I was trying to. Yeah, I hope so. and I was trying to look up what mortal pleasures is. All I can think of is masturbating and sex. And
Yeah.
eating.
Mortal pleasures would be like any of like the normal sins, I think, right? Like any kind of like gluttony, lust, any of that stuff.
Okay.
Masturbation.
Mortal pleasures.
Okay.
I mean, so again, like and if Dungeon World is like an open book in terms of like what do you want mortal pleasures to be, and we could all like I think it's fun for everyone to collectively kind of agree, but like you can have authority over that.
Sour
this
Patch Kids.
There you go. That's a mortal pleasure.
Okay.
All right. So you can pick those later, but you're going to be picking 2 of them. You also have the upper hand. The way death works in this game is when you all go to 0 hit points, you essentially make a death roll, and just like D&D, no bonuses apply for most people. On a 6 or lower, you're dead. Sorry. On a 7 to 9, typically you'll be dying and having your last breath. Last breath is under special moves, but when you have your last breath, death or whatever you think of as death will appear to you and make you an offer with some sort of very interesting price if you want to return to the land of the living, which could be really fun. Like it could be some sort of like dark oath. You have to betray someone or do this thing. You have to give up like your vision, like something that would probably be relevant, relative to your character. Something fun.
That's
10
awesome.
plus, you live and you fuck death over, but death will remember. Now for a barbarian, you've got upper hand. You get to actually have a +1 on your last breath roll. But if you get a 7 to a 9, you have to make death the offer. And if he likes the offer, he'll return you to life. But if he doesn't, fuck you, you're dead, and he takes you with you. So that's pretty cool. Muscle bound automatically gives any weapon you wield the forceful and messy tags. You'll be knocking shit over, knocking it back, and ripping it into all kinds of terrible parts and pieces.
Ripping and a tearing.
Finally, you have What Are You Waiting For, which is kind of like an AoE sort of challenge, fuck you taunt. And this is like where most moves work. Like if you all look at What Are You Waiting For, you just kind of type part of it. When you cry out a challenge to your enemies, you roll plus con. And for you, it might be 2d6. A lot of times, if it's in pursuit of your appetites, it might be a d6 and a d8. So you kind of have like a slightly more complicated roll thing, but you can always ask. On a 10 plus, you become the most obvious threat, and they ignore all your companions, and they all go after you, anyone within range of this thing. And you get +2 bonus damage on any one of them that you attack. Only you. On a 7 to a 9, only like the weakest, shittiest ones might fall prey to your tongue, so maybe only a couple. And again, you would then pick an alignment. And then that alignment comes with almost like a, what you would call like a racial ability, or in this case, it's an alignment ability. So at the end of a session, if you're neutral and you taught someone, if we feel that you taught someone the ways of your people, then you would get a point of XP. So like all of this stuff is like mechanically there to encourage you to play whatever character you build. And again, Advanced Dungeon World would be you make up something that fits your character more than what's written here. You don't have to use the pre-written shit for that kind of stuff. So if you want to like write your own alignment oath, you can.
I see what you're saying.
And then go to gear, and you would kind of like it tells you what to do there. Pick that kind of stuff. So hopefully we're getting the hang of it. I'm gonna pivot over to Klug real quick, since just kind of circle through everyone. Klug, you should have a little bit of an idea from last week about the immolator.
Yeah.
How can you're good to go?
I'm good to go.
Okay, you already.
I mean, I'd like to. I mean, as we go through kind of like the rest of the players.
Yeah.
Just to catch up
Look
on
at the immolator,
because I think there was still like one more bond.
Yeah, we're gonna do bonds collectively at the end. So the one thing I see, your health should be 4 plus Constitution, so your health is actually 20. It's the raw Constitution value. So I updated that there for you.
Oh, on my character sheet here.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of control over this, so I wasn't sure how to or what to do with it.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So I just changed your health to 20.
Okay. I guess could I have done that?
Yeah, you should have been able to type in there, and you can just click and type.
Oh,
2010 hit points.
There it is. Nice. Okay.
So you picked a salamander immolator. So non-magical heat and fire cannot harm you. That's your racial start there. You start with Burning Brand, which is like a conjuring flame weapon, essentially.
Got that. Actually, I start with a bunch of moves.
Yeah,
Only
a bunch of crazy stuff.
Start there, or two of them are there under class moves.
Oh, in the thing.
Yeah. So I've got things like fighting fire with fire and give me fuel, give me fire. But
Let me
so
see.
I clicked on the little hand icon that's top left of the spells box.
Oh, I see.
And I can see.
I got you here. So give me fuel, give me fire. Added that. What's the other one? So you got Zuko style, handcrafted, right?
Handcrafted. Give me fuel. Give me fire.
Okay. All right. I added both of those.
And that's it.
Cool. All right.
Handcrafted.
Should be
so
everything.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have 5.
Burning brand.
Fighting
Fighting
fire,
fire. Okay. Yeah. One sec.
Okay. So now.
Fighting
And so
fire. Boom.
one thing I
There you
noticed
go.
is like when I click
Yep.
the little shield,
Yep.
some of them have description and some don't. I could just copy paste the
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah. Just
material from
so
the page.
same idea. If
Is
you
that
the top
possible?
right, you can unlock, and then you should be able to just paste the material in.
Okay, cool.
And most of the stuff's just for like quick reference. Like it doesn't have to be perfectly set up, especially tonight. But
Sure.
yeah, make note and fix those things.
Okay, cool.
Um.
Then how do I do armor? Because I know I don't actually wear armor.
Do you have armor at all? Do you have anything
Uh,
that gives you defense or armor in your description?
So yeah, I carry no weapon, need no armor.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I guess I just don't have any armor. So
don't
how
have any armor,
important
right?
is armor in this game?
Well, it would help a little bit here and there. There's really not a lot of armor in the game. For example, the barbarian has 1 armor.
Oh, got it. All right,
You would have 0. I mean, all it would
I'm
do is
fine.
if someone hits you,
I die.
you don't reduce the damage at all, essentially.
Okay. Then that's how armor works, right? It just reduces damage. It's
Correct.
harder to hit.
Yeah. Basically, if I say you take 5 points of damage, you'd be like, oh, I've got 1 armor, so it's only 4.
No,
That kind of thing. Jeremy, let's come
Here we go.
back to you.
I just found I have the
Pustis?
dungeon world. I have the dungeon world rules, so I'm just looking at them right now and filling out my sheet.
Okay.
But I'm a while ago. Yeah, I'm gonna call myself Pustis
Okay.
because I think that's a pretty fun name.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Eustace, but pews are like religious, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Eustace,
So I'm
we have a problem.
Pustin. I have like, let's see, I'm a cleric. So I like the. Is Warhammer a one-handed weapon? I couldn't find whether or not it was or it wasn't.
Well, so if you have a weapon that has the tags, if it doesn't have two-handed on it,
Just says Warhammer. Magic weapon.
It's only got the close tag.
Where's that?
Well, I don't know if you're using the wiki, it should have all that
Oh,
stuff.
I'm just looking at my sheet.
Inventory. Warhammer. So if you click that little shield thing on the right of your inventory, which says Warhammer. One thing I can do that I'll try to go through and do. There is like how in D&D you had that library modules stuff. If you guys hit library, and then it's like the last little star icon in the bottom right, and then click all in the top right, it'll turn on all these extra buttons. There's one called abilities, and just like the wiki, you can kind of type like close, which will show the close tag.
Whoa.
And that has most of the rules. So I can actually drag this onto your weapon.
Oh man, will you share your screen real quick? I think I can do it.
Yes.
Typing
Sick.
close doesn't do anything though.
Hold on. So go to the library up here, and you can turn all on, or you can but basically for now just do all. You can turn stuff off if
Oh,
you
mine
don't use
didn't
it
work
later.
either.
Gotcha.
It didn't work.
Nope.
Wait. Well, that should work.
I have all the stars and I'm in the ability.
Oh, you know what it is? I think it's that ship where you have to open the fucking book. If you go to this Dungeon World Starter thing, you might have to drag open this book. If you go
Where's
to
that at?
go to library and then bottom left modules, you should see this starter book.
Oh yeah.
Drag open. Fantasy
shit.
Grounds.
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's pretty super dumb.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Close. Still
Now
doesn't
we
do
have
it.
it. Close
So
heads there.
now if you turn all on and you go to this abilities thing, you can type in rules like close. And you can drag these things onto your character sheet or onto like
Oh, there it
weapons.
is.
So if you want to like drag,
Ah.
you can
Mine's
put
still
it
not doing it.
It's
You have to-
useful for
You
attacking.
have to click on
something.
abilities first.
I did.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not
Oh,
doing
you
it?
mean like
Like up in the top there.
Oh, I see.
Double click it and then type
Yeah,
close. Goes up. Okay, I'm never gonna use that because it's so hard to.
I know. I just use the wiki for most
Yeah,
of
the
the
wiki
stuff.
is so fast.
Just type it and done.
Did you got a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you know how like you can change like when you're messing with an ability, there's a dice string.
Yes.
That lets you roll a dice and then. But okay, so right now there's like a / PBTA. So how do you like is there a reference to what like that / command is or like what those tags are?
So that's and you can decide if you want to use this or not, but basically like if we do hack and slash for you, you click this little dungeon world button. The thing that sucks about this is it does not let you have draggable, throwable dice like we're used to. So if you like drag off a die and then right click, you have 2d6 and you can roll and then add your modifier. And then we would just know that 6 or lower is a fail, 7 and 9's middle, and 10 plus is a thing. If you click if you click this little DW thing, which you can put on what you might be able to like copy the string. But basically it'll roll and tell you the result, like failure with a hard choice or one of these other things.
So my question is like, so right now the / PBTA I think does that where it says like it's either a failure with a hard choice or not.
Right.
But say I got this ability fighting fire with fire where it says like if you take damage and that damage is odd, then you roll a 1d4 and then add that to your burning brand. So
I mean, a lot of that stuff is just going to be we're not going to like try to programmatically track that stuff. Like I think it'll just be faster to just be like, okay, you've got +1 d4, and then you roll an extra d4.
Okay, so I was wondering if I replace that PBTA with something else.
For what ability is that?
Fighting fire with fire. Because if I roll it with the PBTA, then it thinks it's like a failure on a 1d4.
When you take damage, and that damage is odd after armor, the flames, then you can roll 1d4.
That's good. I have a 50% chance.
Fucking hell.
Add that many uses to your burning brand. Well, honestly, this would just be like a 1d4, I think.
Except I put in 1d4 and then tried to roll, and then popped up an error.
I think it's because of the way this sheet's set up. You do /die maybe.
So that / command, I'm like, is there a website or something I could look up to?
Yeah, I can
research
show you that shit later. Well, I mean, all you really need to know is /die, and then 1d4. So I modified it. Now, chill out on the insane rules, please.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
It's a little hard to read things. Okay. So, Jeremy, do you have any questions on your sheet?
Yeah, one thing I couldn't find out.
Character class?
They mentioned this. Where is it? I have class, don't I? Where do you put the class down?
You don't have any class.
It's class time.
I don't know.
Got no class.
Shouldn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm cleric. The thing I was confused about is it says choose one precept of your religion, and then it says add petition suffering. But I just did a Control F. It doesn't reference that petition suffering anywhere else.
To make it up.
Your religion preaches the sanctity of suffering. Add petition suffering. Yeah, I think that might just be like you're basically defining a part of your religion.
Oh, it's not like a spell or something like
I don't think it's a spell or anything.
Okay.
Petition. No, I don't think so. I think it's more like you're defining what this god that you worship, like what their main sort of tenet is.
Okay, so my whole MO is that I'm like a bounty hunter for the church. And I bring down blasphemers and rogue priests and heretics, hunt them down.
Yeah.
So I'm like super religious, but my religion is suffering. So I just I'm hunting.
Sweet, we're gonna be best friends.
Hunting people down.
All right.
And then so like other stuff so pick a deity. I just said Krex because I already had a symbol, and the symbol of Krex is a black witch's finger, and it's dried up, and I wear it in a necklace around my neck.
Okay.
But it says choose my deity's domain, and I picked what lies beneath. I don't know what that means other than
Harrison Ford was in that movie.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Pick your deity's domain. Okay. Well, like, yeah. Why don't we define what that means? That's like the whole premise of Dungeon World. Like we.
So
we
what
get
lies
to say,
beneath? Krex
yeah.
is like the god of revenge. She's the god of
Is
broken
it like?
promises.
Does it have something to do with like, bodies beneath the ground, or something a little more ethereal?
Yeah, he's like an old god. I want some
Okay.
like Cthulhu shit in there. So
Alright,
like,
yeah, do it.
he came from another planet. Let's say like hell planet.
Okay. Are you and all of your fellow followers just like put on this earth as like some sort of test to prove your value? Like what's the
Yeah, we're trying to get to
relationship
that
like
planet.
there? Okay.
Maybe it's not a hell planet. Maybe we're just trying to get to his planet. And,
Do you respect or resent this planet that you're on, that you believe you're on?
I think I respect it. I think it's like.
Okay. You
I
have
think
to
it's-
respect it to sort of move on.
Yeah, sure. But
Okay.
maybe the planet is like a spaceship for the god. I don't know.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Feel it out. You know, you don't have to go off the deep end. You just plant some seeds. Get some
Okay,
cues
all right.
ready.
So what?
That's
lies
the
beneath-
idea here.
It's a planet full of. It's a planet that I'm trying to get to. It's like Kolob. I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to
Okay.
get my own.
All right.
And maybe it's not like Kolob. I don't know. That might be insensitive. But it's a planet.
Okay.
I'm trying to get there, and it's full of like some tentacled old god named Krex.
So I kind
God of
of
revenge.
liked walking through people's like sort of starting class with the barbarian. Maybe we'll do that for everyone. You already talked about your deity a little bit. It sounds like your divine guidance is what's connected to your petition. So when you petition your god according to the precept of your religion, you're granted some useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. So this could be like when you do a prayer or when you do some kind of ability. That's how that's how all of these things that we're defining about your god come into play. So that when you in game in the story do some sort of wacky shit, like that's my cue to go off of to give you your answers.
Ooh. So maybe is it every time
So
I
that's-
bring down a criminal of the church?
Ooh, okay.
Like every time I find one, or I find somebody doing something against the faith.
So it's you petitioning your deity. So whether that's like this like sort of climactic moment, whether it's like against a monster or some sort of target, or if it's you just like whispering a prayer in time of need, as long as it's according to the precepts that you're defining for this religion, then you will be granted some knowledge or boon related to your domain. So it could be like, give me strength. Maybe you'll get like a +1 buff or something if it's like some badass prayer you pull off. Like to me, all of this is going to be tied to like the pitch and delivery in character.
All right. So maybe So if he's a god of revenge, maybe every time I petition Krex for help, it's because I'm trying to have revenge on somebody that's wronged me or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, and like again, like for most of these classes, like all these little things where you get to define stuff, these are all the building blocks for things that you can lean on to try to like do cool shit in the game, get buffs, or like really unlock some story or some game master insight. You also have turn undead. When you hold your holy symbol aloft, whatever that is for your god, you roll plus
Dried
wisdom.
witch's finger.
Yep, okay. So long as you continue to pray and brandish that holy symbol, no undead may come within reach of you if you roll a 7+. On a 10+, you momentarily daze intelligent undead and cause mindless undead to flee. Any kind of aggression would break that and allow them to act as normal. Intelligent undead may still find ways to harry you from afar, but they'll be sort of like, keeping a distance probably. Commune is when you spend uninterrupted time, an hour or so, in quiet communion with your deity. It's kind of like a reset. You would lose any spells already granted to you from like your prayers, your boons, whatever. You're granted new spells of your choice, and it's like typical level restriction bullshit. And you prepare all of your rotes, which for cleric are kind of like your cantrips, that never count against your spell limit.
Well, do you get a spell first level? I didn't see a spell.
Yeah, so cast
table.
a spell, wisdom. So there is a cleric. I don't have a thing, but if you expand cleric or you just type cleric spells, there is a big old cleric spell list that's sorted by rotes, which are like cantrips, and then level 1 spells. For you, Whenever you unleash a spell granted to you by your god, you roll plus wisdom, 10 plus. You successfully cast the spell, and your deity does not remove or revoke the spells from you, so you can cast it again. If you get a 7 to 9, you have to make a hard choice. So you cast the spell, but you choose one of these things. And I may throw other things in there at times, but these are like the standard. So you cast the spell, but you choose drawing unwelcome attention to put yourself in a spot, whatever that may be. Your casting distances you from your god. You take -1 ongoing to cast a spell until the next time that you commune with your god. So you pissed him off in some way. If you cast after you cast it, the spell is revoked, so you would lose that spell. And you can't cast the spell again until you commune and have it granted back to you again.
But when I commune, I can pick any first level spell I want, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't have to like
cleric spells. Every time you commune, you gain access to all of your rotes without having to select them or count them towards your allotment of spells. And then I'm not sure about.
But you can lose your
spells.
rotes if you roll low.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to see what you can find out more on that. Like I haven't had anyone play a spellcaster yet. But clerics and wizards are the only ones that actually have spell lists.
So I can just say I'll just pick one of these first level spells now and say like this is loaded for the adventure,
Sure.
and then okay.
Alright,
cool.
Okay. Let's go back to Kyle. It's been a while.
What's up, homie?
What's up, dog?
Not much, you know. Modify my shit.
Okay.
I don't know how to modify my shit still.
You have
Okay.
to unlock it for the most part.
A little lock button at the top right. Kyle, questions, class talk,
Yep.
point assignment.
Yep. Hey, so my attributes, I got that covered.
Okay.
Combat, so like health and defense and all that shit. Is that auto? Do you have to
Nope.
set that?
So your maximum health is going to be 10 plus your constitution. So you're going to be. I'll put that in for you. You got 25 hit points or health.
Nice.
Your base damage is a D10. Whenever you roll damage, you would roll a D10. You have the human class. If you alternatively want to modify that later because of your backstory, you can. But for now, we'll just say that you have the human racial thing, which is when you pray for guidance, even for a moment, and ask, "What here is evil?"
Yep.
I will tell you honestly, kind of similar to Palandor using his little aura sensing shit. But you can sort of sense the presence in an area, in a location, or in a spot. Your starting moves as a paladin. You've got lay on hands. When you physically touch someone skin to skin and pray for their well-being, you roll plus charisma. On a 10 plus, you heal 1d8 or remove 1 disease. On a 7 to 9, they're healed, but the damage or disease is transferred to you depending on what you were trying to do. You automatically have the armored ability, so you ignore clumsy. You are the law. When you give an NPC or someone like that an order based on your divine authority, you roll plus charisma. On a 7 plus, they choose one. They get to do what you say, back away cautiously, and then flee or attack you. On a 10 plus, you basically, whenever it says you get +1 forward against them, that means any sort of move you try to make, you would get a +1 on the success roll. So instead of like 2d6 plus your thing, you would get 2d6 plus your thing +1. On a miss, like where you completely fail, they do as they please and get a bonus, or you basically get a penalty against them. Paladins are pretty neat, especially with your backstory, because one of your starting moves is a Paladin Quest. When you dedicate yourself to a mission through prayer and ritual cleansing, you state what you're setting out to do. And again, you can make up something here if you want, but the standard thing is you want to set out to slay blank, a great blight on the land, or you want to defend blank from the inequities that beset them, or you want to discover the truth of blank.
Yeah, I'm discovering the truth of blank.
Okay, perfect. And now the follow-up to that is you get to choose up to 2 boons. And, you know, again, we've got a list here you can go through. There's...
So I think the not eating or sleeping or drinking thing fits in with my character.
Okay, yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
And then let me pop open this little guy here. I think I was gonna go with invulnerability 2.
Okay.
Um,
And that could be like, yeah, a type of weapon damage, an element, enchantments, etc.
I think I'm gonna go with like fire.
Okay. All right. So the way that this works is these are basically 2 buffs that you would permanently have for being on this holy quest. But in order to have them, you need to maintain and upkeep your vows in order to keep these blessings. And we can figure out exactly what your vow will be here. There's like an example list here.
Do you want to just throw like 2d6 and whatever the numbers are is what I get?
Well, there's only 1, so it'd be like 1d6.
Oh, I only have to do 1? I thought it was 2.
Well,
One
no,
for
so
each.
1. Well, it depends. I would say just 1 vow's fine.
Do I just do that?
Sure. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Whoop! Number 3.
Number 3, piety. You must observe some sort of daily ritual, which you can define. Maybe you can tell us what that is in a little bit here.
Right.
I like that. Maybe do you lash yourself, your bottom, with the cat of 9 tails? Casey, for your character sheet, I'll share my screen again. Do a little of that and a little bit of that. So to you basically have to those little shields, those little bullet things. To click that, it'll pop open a window, and then when you unlock it, you can change the value. And then if you need help knowing what the plus is, but that's what you put next to it, and then you would change the mod to match that too, and then just lock it again. Yeah, a little more old school, but.
Can I go ahead and adjust these?
Yes, please do. Go ahead and assign them how you want.
And real quickly, it says I have a -1, but I thought I had 3 +1s.
Let me look at Barb stats.
See, +2, 2
So you've
+1,
got,
-1.
Yeah, you got a 16 with a +2, 50 +1. I mean, that might be wrong what's in there, so you just want to put these values in that you see there.
Yeah. Okay.
And put them wherever you want. If your constitution changes, we'll need to update your health.
It's going to slightly.
Okay. All right. Jeff.
Yo.
Orc thief lady.
That's right.
Let's take a look at the thief class real quick, and then if you have any questions, pop them up as we go along here. So you're playing a thief. Have you looked at some of the look options?
Oh yeah, I got that all figured out.
Okay. Have you assigned your stats yet?
No.
Okay. Are you taking the array or are you rolling?
I don't want to roll, I guess.
All right, let's get that shit out of the way.
20, 20, 20, 20.
All right, so you know how to roll 4d6?
Fucking do it.
Nope.
So if you look at my screen share, if you click the d6, you can right click to keep adding dice until you have 4.
Okay.
And then you can throw it. And so what we do is we'll drop the lowest. So do that 6 times for 1 for each of the 6 stats. So that will be a 10.
Ugh.
Okay, it's not bad.
10's good.
It's average.
And an 11, you're getting better.
Still bad though.
And a 9, getting worse.
You're getting more
Come
average.
on, blow on those things.
18.
Woo, 16.
Whoa.
Okay.
All right.
And a 13, not bad.
Good.
You're
Looking
still
pretty
above
standard.
average.
Looking pretty standard. All right.
Oh, one more, right?
Oh, that's
more.
it.
No, you got one more.
Yeah,
One more.
Yeah.
And a 14. Okay, pretty good.
That's
Pretty good. So, you can basically put those values anywhere you want. I'll pull up in your sheet here. So same idea as what Casey was just talking about. For thief, you probably want like dexterity. And then after that, there's a lot of options depending on how you want to play this thief. Well, so before you assign them, let's look at the thief real quick because your abilities might sort of define where what kind of style you want to play. So as an orc, you gain an additional poison called bitter leaf that you can use and be trained in.
Yeah.
You are a trap expert, so this is where dexterity comes into play. You can spend a moment to survey a dangerous area. On a 10+, you get something called Hold 3. Think of it like 3 charges against that trap. On a 7 to 9, you would only get Hold 1 charge against that trap. You can spend your hold as you want 1-to-1 on any of these things as you walk through the area. You can ask these questions. Basically, each question counts 1 point of your hold, right? So let's assume that you got a 10 and you got 3 points of hold while you're examining a dangerous trap up ahead. So you can say, is there a trap here? And if so, what activates it? You now lost 1 point of hold. You've got 2 points left. You're still examining this trap, this dangerous hallway. You can now say, what else is hidden here? And I would tell you the answer. You would lose another point. You can then say, what does the trap do when activated? And I would tell you, and you would lose another point. So you're basically using these things to exchange them for information. Now, on the other hand, if you only got a 7, 2, or 9, you would only gain 1 point, and you would have to pick one of those 3 questions, and then do what you will with the results. But you wouldn't get to, like, try again, right? The one thing that's interesting about Dungeon World is a lot of times, unlike D&D, you can't just like spam like a skill check or like all go in on something. As soon as you do this, like that defines that part of the story. Like, you know, Snack examined the hallway and was only able to discern one piece of information about this trapped corridor. After that, they had to take their chances or turn around and go somewhere else. That kind of idea. So that's the idea of hold. If you got a 6, you wouldn't have any idea that it was trapped at all.
Okay, and I would never want to hold on to.
No, and that's the way that hold works, right? So it's always locked to that thing. As soon as you disengage from that thing, whether it's an activity or an enemy, it's gone. So it's very much tied to the moment. Everyone's got the standard move of defend. Like if our heroic paladin was going in to try to block and defend the cleric who was trying to heal the dying thief, he could do a defend move, and if he rolled really well, he might get 3 charges of hold, which would let him, like, let me pull up defend. So on defend, if you get 10+, again, you get 3 charges of hold. On a 7 to 9, you get hold 1. Let's say he rolled an 8, got 1 charge. So the paladin's running in, only got 1 on the defense. He has to choose 1-to-1 while defending against this enemy attacking our cleric. He can redirect the attack from the cleric to himself and spend that 1 point. He can spend that 1 point to half the effect of the damage. Maybe he deflects or throws the enemy off so that when he hits the cleric only takes half damage. He can open up the attacker, exposing them weakness so that any ally that he chooses would get a +1 to hit them on their next move. Or he can deal damage equal to his level. So it's all about choices. A lot of times you have to pick one out of many. But that's, again, how hold works, how a lot of these moves are sort of structured. So circling back to the thief, you've got Trap Expert, which also uses hold. You've got Tricks of the Trade, which is basically picking locks or actually disabling the trap. All sleight of hand type stuff. You've got Backstab, and again, all these are based on dexterity, so is Backstab. If an enemy is deemed to be surprised or defenseless, you can choose to deal damage with a melee weapon. And again, you've got a list of things that you can do depending on how well you roll. If you get a 10+, you get to pick 2 of these things. If you only get a 7 to 9, you can pick 1 of these things. And it's like bonus damage. You don't actually have to get in melee with them. You stab them and get out. You create an advantage, blah, blah, blah. You also have flexible morals. You never need to tell anyone your alignment. And you also have a bunch of stuff related to crazy poison shit. And then pick your gear. That's the thief. Any outstanding questions or sort of stat questions? Dexterity seems like
I figured
the
out
biggest
my
thing
alignment and my gear. I did my bonds. I'm trying to decide between Golden Root and Serpent's Tears.
Okay. All right, we'll marinate on that.
Maybe I should put that out to the group.
Yeah. We're getting close to just sort of wrapping this up in group talk about bonds and shit. Dave, and then anyone else, if you want to queue up, what's the status on things?
I have my thing that I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. How do I put those numbers in?
Okay. So why don't you decide where you want them to go?
All right. Cool.
Okay. And then yeah, if you need help, we can do it. Kyle, did you have something?
Yeah, so I need something I need to do every single day to maintain my
Correct.
thing, right?
Yep.
Right, so I need to get a massive boner when I wake up.
In order to maintain this.
Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to basically pray to the Ouroboros, which is the god of my sect of paladins.
Okay, yeah, you're ancient and just beautiful order of paladins.
Yeah, and I want to pray for a glorious death and a new rebirth. So I have to take a knee, and I have to take my Ouroboros necklace in my hand, and I have to put it up to my head, and I need to pray to the Ouroboros.
Okay.
At sundown every day.
Okay, and since this is in a very key part of your character class and story, I would say, and this goes for most people, like you need to fucking sell that shit. Like we need to hear your goddamn prayer. You need to just milk the fuck out of that.
All right.
Okay.
Every day at sundown.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Casey, Clue, Jeremy, anybody else? How we doing?
What are we doing, bonds?
I do have one question.
Well, before we get to bonds, I just want to make sure there's nothing else. Yep, Casey.
No, I'm fine.
I do have one question.
Okay.
If you look everywhere on all the stat sheets,
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is supposed to be a -1 or a +1,
Okay.
even on the main page. So let me show you where it says assign these scores to your stats.
Yeah.
Even on your page and every page I've seen,
So
looks like
it'd be
this.
under the ability score modifier table, but go on.
Yep.
Okay.
So, look at this image I just posted in the chat.
Stats.
What's 8? It says 8-1. There's no negative or plus in there.
Oh, well, that should be a -1. Yeah, it's just a.
Why is that a -1?
Because that's in this game 6 to 8. If your stats 6 to 8, it's a -1. If it's 9 to 12, it's 0. If it's 13 to 15, it's +1. 16 to 17 is +2. 18 is +3. No stat for any of you mortals can be above an 18. It's like it's a little bit different than D&D as far as like the plus scale.
There we go.
A screenshot.
Okay.
It's
I
a
also
tiny
have
screenshot.
a question.
Okay.
So I have to pick a signature weapon.
As a paladin?
Yep.
What? Really?
Paladin's OP.
I believe that's the deal.
Well, no. You start with dungeon rations, scale armor, and some mark of faith, which you've already described a little bit. You choose a weapon, either a halberd or a longsword. If you want to reskin it to something, that's fine. And then you also choose one of either adventuring gear or dungeon rations.
Really?
Yep.
How did I click signature weapon?
You're looking at fighter.
All right.
Adventuring gear is like another interesting how they abstract sort of items in this game. But think of it like a grab bag of whatever's in there doesn't exist until you pull it out. So your adventuring gear has 5 uses. It's a collection of just a bunch of random shit like chalk, poles, spikes, ropes, etc. When you rummage through your bag, you find what you need and mark off a use. So it's like all those things exist, and you don't actually take them out until you go in and get the thing you want at the time, and then you mark off a use. So think of it like charges almost. Ethereal, just sort of list of shit in there that you
under abilities for my character.
Yeah.
It says fighter creation, so I think I got spliced.
Yeah, that would
it
be.
It says signature weapon. Yeah, signature weapon, bend bars, and armor.
Yeah.
That's where I found it.
Okay. Let me. I've got a fighter. We can copy. Oh yeah. I think
basically
this fighter template was fucked. So I can delete that. Here, I'll handle this.
I get armored and bend bars is basically the idea.
Yeah. Like let me. I can quickly update your thing here.
And then also under my More core, I have a longsword instead of a warhammer, but pretty much does the same thing.
Okay. So. Longsword. Okay, and then you have human paladin and lay on hands. All that.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
quest. I am Delal. So if you guys want to start talking and looking at bonds,
Casey, you're my bond. Jeremy, you're my bond.
well, it's a little more involved than that, but
Yeah, okay. I've sworn to protect Casey because he's family is family. However you pronounce your name, Jeremy. You're soft. Eustace, you're soft.
One sec.
But I'm gonna make you real hard. Don't you worry about that.
I see the way you're swerving.
I mean, you are a cleric or a bard or something, so I'm sure you can get hard pretty easily.
He's a penis doctor.
I'll check out your penis for you.
Yeah. How many bonds?
Yep. All right.
So you, I would encourage everyone to have at least like 2 bonds like now, but you can have more. And again, the ones there are just suggestive, like they're not. You don't have to use.
Jeremy, is your guy like is he gonna kill things?
Yeah. Because he's like a bounty. He's a bounty hunter for the church.
Then fuck that, because you're already hard as nails.
Who's the youngest in the group?
Cleric bond.
I'm approximately 415 years old.
Well, you're like 4 times my age, sir.
So again, at the end of each session, like where we play, you can try to resolve 1 bond. Depends on both people involved agreeing that it's been resolved. And when you resolve your bond that's on your list, you get to mark XP. The bond is resolved when it no longer describes how you relate to that person, like as it's written. That might be because a circumstance has changed, like so-and-so used to have your back, but after he abandoned you to the goblins, you're not so sure. Or it could be because it's no longer a question. You guided so-and-so before and he owed you, but he paid that debt back when he saved your life with a well-timed spell. Anytime you look at a bond and think, that's not a big factor in how we relate anymore, the bond is at a good place to be resolved. And if you have a blank bond left over, you can write a new one later, or at the end of the session and you resolve one, you can write a new one based on things that happen.
Hey, Klug, you want to distrust each other because you're kind of fiery and salamandery, and you remind me of the verms of the north.
Sorry, I'm back.
No, let's trust each other.
Oh, okay. I mean, but maybe that's the
bonds?
adventure, is we learn to trust each other.
Oh, got it. You want to save that? Okay, yeah. We can do that.
We learn to trust each other.
You can always have up to 4 bonds.
Oh.
All right.
How do we determine what attributes get +1 or whatever?
There's something called the ability. Like if you type in the wiki, Jeff, if you type ability score, you see ability score modifier table.
Okay.
And look at that, but like it's got a range there. So like
it's a lot nicer than D&D.
9 to 12, 0.
Like a 6 to an 8 is still -1. It's not -2.
I know all my bonds too.
Okay, so let's since Edward spoke up first, let's look at fighter bonds. So I would say everyone's got up to 4 bonds. Advanced Dungeon World, you can write your own if you want, but for whatever, just use the shit here if you need to. So do at least 2. So talk to me, Gladhammer.
Yeah. I've sworn to protect my half brother, Casey, because family is family.
Okay.
Even though we've never met before.
I'm gonna paste that in to your character sheet. You've sworn to protect Rex.
Even though we've never met.
Okay, you've never met. Okay, you've sworn to protect Rex. So like, did you hear about this half brother? Like, how do you know about him?
Well, I mean,
this is where we get into it.
Are we doing like we're in the middle part of our grand quest?
Yeah, we are. We can we're going to be hand waving talking about how we got where we got, but we're going to be starting at a lost hidden doorway into what you believe might be this sort of this lost underground lair.
Okay. So I've already met Rex. He told me that we were related. I didn't trust him until he showed me some kind of amulet or some shit. And then when he showed me that, I recognized it as an heirloom token of the Gladhammer clan.
Oh. Okay.
And I swore.
And ever since that day, you've sworn this oath. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, like bonds are mostly intended to be resolved. So, if it should come up that you really stick your neck out to protect your newly discovered half brother, at the end of the session we would say, if you guys agreed, we would say that you resolved that bond and you would write a new one. And it could be something similar with the same character, or it could be something entirely different. So we got that in. I pasted that into your sheet from the site. What else you got?
So we're from the far north. Dwarves like gold. My family particularly has mine shafts and shit that we mine, all kinds of things. But the thing is that we really hate dragons.
Okay.
The lust for treasure and gold and all that shit. So
that's racist, sir.
No, it's not. It's the truth. Gladhammer did not trust fire-breathing things like Klugi. But
okay.
No, that is racist as fuck.
That's straight racist. You are a big racist.
Okay,
You're such a big liar.
So I like this. I like this. You are advanced dungeon worlding here, writing your own bond, huh?
Yeah.
So Gladhammer does not trust fire-based or finds fire things.
No, he said dragons.
Oh,
I don't trust dragons.
Yeah, I don't trust dragons. I know that he's not.
He confuses me with dragons, but I'm salamander.
But there's still the association. There's still the association of. Even though he's a salamander that breathes fire or whatever.
You don't trust strange magical fire lizards.
If we're this far into the, if we're halfway through,
you could be with him and still have like a suspicious nature about you between I
still don't like he's proven himself several times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But to fully trust.
Okay, let's do this in character, in story. Like I love just saying Gladhammer does not trust the fire lizard.
Lizard.
It doesn't mean you can't travel with him. And then maybe one day he'll prove you wrong and earn your trust.
Listen, Mr. Salamander, trust is built over time. And I will trust you in time, I'm sure. Just don't fuck things up, please.
What does Palandor sound like again?
You
racist. Palandor.
Don't trip him up.
What do you mean?
Okay. All right. So that's
the difference between
the deer Lathandir.
Oh yeah, right.
Lathandir.
This is much more, gritty and deep and.
All right, Gladhammer. That's 2 bonds for you. Are you throwing any more down on the table here?
I don't know. Does someone else want to bond with me?
Yeah, I got a
cleric.
bond.
All right, bond with me. Bond with me, Jeremy.
I don't know if it's.
Doesn't have to be with you. Step off, Gladhammer. Let's listen to Pustis.
So my bond was going to be that I think one person in the group may be somebody I'm hunting, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I have to stick with the group to try to get more information.
Okay, hold on. Did you?
I'm not going to tell you which one I think it is.
Yeah,
goddamn
that's
racist.
So, but I want to ask: Is your hunt, your hunt of this bounty, what led you to join this group?
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
the first place? Okay, so
I infiltrated.
I will put insert name here. I'm going to put this on your
Just
notes.
Put
Insert
fucking
name
Lorenzo down.
here. May be one of my god's bounties.
Right.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. What else you got?
I'm gonna do also David, or
Gladhammer.
Glamhammer.
Yeah.
Gladhammer trusted me with a secret.
Ooh, okay. Gladhammer.
I'll tell you what the secret is in a minute, Jeremy.
Okay.
With a secret. Okay, yeah, I kind of want to know it. Again, we can out of character know what that secret is, unless you guys want to keep it super secret.
I want to keep it secret.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
I would like to hear about it later.
Did you tell the secret?
No, you told me the secret. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the bond? That's the bond.
That's the bond. You trusted me with that.
Yeah.
Wait, but you're a halfling? Do dwarves inherently trust halflings?
I don't know. Do they?
I don't know. Do they?
We've been
Why
in
is
the
everyone
group for a while.
fucking racist?
Okay, then I trust you.
I'll be right back.
They're short like you.
Oh.
They're the perfect height.
Yeah, but they
Wow, really? You're really not helping yourself here.
live on dirt. And do they live in dirt hills outside in the surf?
Racist, every one of you.
I will go back to the shit.
Hey, we're trying to define the world here.
I see how the world is.
Okay. You got any more? Got any more for us here, Pustus?
I'm just gonna do 2 because I don't think
Okay.
I'm gonna be able to remember any more than 2.
Okay. Let's swing over to Gnarl. Gnarl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gnarly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't yet found my. Okay, so I changed some things.
Okay.
Gnarl does talk.
Okay.
And I'm chaotic, not evil. So there's that.
Okay. Okay.
Also, I'm thinking my accent would be this. This
Okay.
will be my voice for the game.
Okay.
Good luck, sir.
This sounds a lot like a
What?
salamander.
Salamander.
Yeah, you're a.
I am Salamander. Yeah. So
Salamando.
I'm still going with the he's got the ritual scars pulled out of another plane, experimented on by wizards,
Okay.
eventually found by the cleric in our party. So
Pustus.
Pustus.
So,
Pistis.
Pustus.
Pustus.
Ah, yes, the man who saved me. So
Do you,
I want to get
consider-
like
do
some
you consider-
backstory going on.
Do you consider what he does magic, or do you consider that's something else because of its wholly strange nature?
I definitely
It's
I mean,
not
definitely
arcane
know
magic, per
about
se.
magic. Yeah, no. I know about magic. Like
Yeah.
magic is a tool. I don't hate magic. I hate the people that use it for.
I don't want
wrong.
to brag or nothing, but I know magic.
Okay.
I know
Ooh.
magic.
Okay.
That's a,
So
Okay,
I took
so-
pity on you. I saw you like dead in a ditch or something like.
Yeah, exactly. Good Samaritan. And now I kind of owe you. So I don't know if that works into your bonds at all, but
What is this fucking lizard thing?
yeah, definitely.
Ew.
Ew! Are you alive?
I'm definitely.
Get
I
up.
glow. I glow with the light of the sun.
Okay.
So so can I real quick just get like a
Yeah.
party makeup because I was kind of half paying attention when everybody picked their
That's
thing.
okay. Yeah. So we
Pustus
have.
is a cleric.
Yeah. Let's just do that
Halfling
just in
cleric,
general. So yeah. Why don't we go
Okay.
around the virtual table here? Pustus,
Okay, I'll-
halfling clerik. Go ahead.
All right, and then
give
Gnarl,
us like one line about you all picked your looks and all that crap. Give us like the fucking 1 or 2 sentence elevator pitch about who you are and what you look like.
Hello
what your
there,
deal is.
Justus. Half cleric. No, halfling cleric. Let me tell you something about myself. Always gregarious, always happy to be here. Every once in a while I say a comment that's a little darker than you thought. Maybe it belies something below the surface.
Yeah. All right.
nice. I can't top that. But I am Gnarl, the salamander emulator from another plane, here to shake things up and set fires and try to return home.
I love that pause. You're like, dig things up. I'm here
Spread
to
dangerous
shake things up.
ideas. It's another one.
Wait, hold on.
yeah, that's
hold that thought for like 1 second. I need to do a thing. I need to
I'm
backtrack
here
a
to
thing.
Shake things up.
So we had Pustus.
That's awesome.
We got
Elvis.
That
as a-
photo is everything I need.
we got the
that's
salamander, the fire lizard.
Ooh. Oh, he really is a salamander.
He really fucking is.
No clothes or anything. Just
No clothes, no
salamander.
weapons.
Or anything.
Oh.
All right, so there we go. Now I'm caught up. Gnarl the salamander. How about Lorenzo?
My good lords and ladies, I am a slain paladin from back when shit, what's the name of the town? West Ham was created. I came here on an errand to defend West Ham, and I was killed on the clay banks. And I am newly resurrected, and I'm unfamiliar with this land.
I fucked up Kyle's
Cuban?
picture. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, Cuban. I'm from the far distant lands of Cuba.
No, human.
No, Cuba. No, he's human. He's
Yes.
human. He's got like a slightly like he's dirty and rusted, but
Full suit of like ancient looking paladin armor.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on
Wow,
here?
when did he die? Like hundreds of years ago?
he
Wait,
died
what do you mean he
150 years
died?
ago.
Wait, do they know?
He said he died.
What? Marcelo?
You guys don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, your
I just
characters
really,
don't know.
I'm
Okay.
really stinky, and you can't really tell because I'm fully clad in armor.
Are Are you like the mountain where we can kind of see your eyes and they look like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a faint glowing eye color. It's like dead white, kind of. You can only see it at night.
Okay.
Tom and Jerry. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gladhammer.
Well, I'm a dwarf. See, I'm looking for information. My family owns several mine shafts, but a great darkness has disturbed the deep, and I'm looking for information. It just so happens that I'm on this quest with you guys to find said information. I'm also kind of missing an arm, but I wouldn't worry about that. Also, I love to drink.
Yeah,
my
don't
God.
mind the picture. That's just you imagining what his arm used to look like.
Yeah, and I've got a hammer. That was before. That was about 100 years ago, but don't worry about it.
All
Are
right.
you a fighter? Barbarian?
But you're
yeah.
pre-Westham?
I'm a fighter dwarf.
Like to
I
fight.
like to fight things.
Okay. We've got this wild-looking who probably doesn't have axes, but this wild-looking naked,
Damn, that's
tattooed,
awesome.
crazy
Jesus.
dwarf, half dwarf. Why don't you take it away for us?
I'm Rex, raised by bears.
A man of few words.
Fuck is a half
He seems like an outsider to you.
Father.
Is that your belly button hair coming out of your belt?
Oh shit! Is it?
It's your pubes.
It's the bush. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just starts to finger and curl the hair.
Like a mustache.
Yeah, raised by bears. Father threw me out when I was young. I was an abomination half dwarf. It's a long story. My mom boinked Dave's dad.
Well, he has been known to get around.
No, she
I don't-
got around with him.
Oh, well, she has too.
Well, Rex doesn't know. Nice.
Wild
We've got
eyes. People say wild eyes. Tattoos. No clothes. Feels pleasurable
You have your mom's
in
pubes.
life.
Oh,
That's it.
Okay.
I guess you're a barbarian.
Yup.
He looks very barbaric. Yeah. Very.
I like how you're
crude
like,
in
and
nature.
that's it.
Okay. Last but
There you
not
go.
least, we
Yeah.
have we've got
Take care of
Snack.
it.
Knock.
Oh, sorry. A
Oh.
a female orc.
Oh, she's sexy.
I thought you were Gunt for a while.
Gunt.
That's what he had on the
Who's hungry for a
forum.
snack?
I
Yeah,
thought Gunt was a great name.
we can change it.
So to give us the 1 or 2 sentence elevator pitch about who you are.
Hold on. Man, I didn't even think of this.
Dig deep, just spitball it, and
Yeah.
then we'll get back to bonds.
I'm from a dark place you've never heard of, and I prefer to be in the shadows.
Oh, I like all the poisons you have on your little strap there.
That's right. These
Dude, they're fucking
That's right.
They're push-up pops.
That's right.
They're,
Push
blue-
pops
they're igloo pops.
those blue ones,
from the
the
freezer.
juice of the testicles of a guy who tried to rape me once.
Why is it blue? Jesus.
Whoa. This is a dark, interesting party so far.
Are they all from the same guy, or is it separate?
No, the red are healing potions. The green
Oh, okay.
Don't mix that up in battle.
Don't drink the wrong one.
the green one, I
Oh
just
shit!
for
It's
fun.
liquid testicle.
There's got to be a roll for that. He's
Yeah.
fumbling for his potion.
That's where like a fail or a success but a complication would come into
Just
play.
guzzled jizz.
He's like, oh, he threw the right healing potion to the ally, but accidentally drank the pureed testicle liquid himself.
Got some blue on your face. Let me just wipe that off.
Sorry.
Fucking hell.
Continue. Dark tusked thief here.
Dark
Yeah.
snack.
Snack.
Snock.
I'll I
pick
tend
it
to
back
keep
up.
to myself, but I let my guard down when I'm horny.
Okay. right. Hey, I mean, this is a dark world with a lot of core needs.
Can I just say that during this introduction, Rex gets up and immediately sniffs the ass of this woman.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Curiously.
What's it smell like?
Healthy. Very healthy.
I playfully
but
cut a lock of hair off with my dagger.
Oh, roll for it. Roll.
I just look up.
You cut a lock of the barbarian's hair off?
Just like an inch.
Oh, I mean, I feel like there's a bond forming over this.
A gift.
What sort of
Still
promise
shorter.
are you? What sort of key? It's almost like a promise ring, but it's like a promise lock of hair. What kind of like promise are you making with this exchange here?
Wait, I have to stick to the template, right?
No, you can make anything up.
This is Dungeon World.
Advanced Dungeon World, that shit.
Oh shit, I didn't think of this.
Yeah, make anything up, dude. It's just that's think of the template as like the guideline, right? Anything that sort of follows a similar path, like
Okay.
like I will cherish this lock of hair until whenever, or until some sort of thing is met. Klug, I pasted you the super advanced roll macro shit if you really care.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this hair until we successfully con someone.
Ooh, there you go. That's a bond. Done.
Yeah.
Advancing the shit out of that.
I chest bump you.
Mm.
Okay. You guys. Rex, are you filing a bond under this exchange as well?
I see that she's taking a lock of my hair, and I am curious of what she wants to do with it.
So I'll let you write this snack. If you want to go to your notes tab, write out that thing you just said, basically.
Okay.
I will blank. Sorry, Rex, go ahead.
It's unlike anything I've never known animals or creatures to take
like this
locks
thing?
of hair. I mean, I've taken whole scalps.
Have you seen orcs before, let alone more civilized or ones amongst the more common folk?
I had a hard time seeing her, but she did smell different. Very healthy.
Okay.
Lots of hair.
Well, while we're on you, let's focus on your core bonds. What do you got going on for bonds here with the party members?
I was just using the templates that we
That's
had,
fine. Yeah.
and I felt like a lot of them worked pretty well.
Okay.
I feel like Pustus?
Yeah, the first one
is puny and foolish, but very amusing to me.
Okay.
I'm
gonna paste that in.
Tremendously amused by this smaller animal.
Okay. So like basically you would resolve that if you came to respect, or your feelings on that changed. Yeah.
I see. Lorenzo's ways are extremely strange and confusing for me.
That makes sense.
They're so dark and ominous, more evil than animal nature. What I've been brought up with.
Okay.
Not that.
Any others? You're not limited to 2. Like that's just.
I know. I'm still going.
Okay.
For everybody.
Can I riff on that?
Sure. Yeah. Let's pass it over to Lorenzo.
I wanna convince Rex that I'm not evil and I'm
Okay, so
I'm out of place and he's misunderstood me.
Okay. Go ahead and write that shit in on your notes page.
Let's go.
In game. See
See
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I gotcha.
What else you got, Rex?
This shrouded healthy orc I've sniffed and just been acquainted with has lots of vials on her and is very shrouded in mystery, and she makes me curious what she seems sneaky and I want to keep an eye on her. You know what I mean? She doesn't seem straightforward. And then the last one I had was so we've already been on quest before, right?
Yeah, so it's up to you guys. Like that's kind of like we're sort of we're writers rooming the shit out of like how did we end up here, right? How did we end up at the door to this sort of mystical, purported, like most people didn't believe it existed. This what you think is leading to this unknown lair that was reportedly the home, the dungeon of this like famed wizard and fighter who retired here. And kind of like set up this complicated labyrinth or lair of some sorts.
Okay.
And so there's this nearby town. There's this sort of recent, I wouldn't call this the war, but there was a battle in this war with this evil dragon army that took place with this guy Lord Stefan, and it sort of ravaged and changed the town West Ham a little bit, which is about a day's journey from here. So there's a lot of potential with maybe you were in the dragon army and you defected, or you got caught and you were a prisoner and you escaped. Maybe you were here helping to defend the place. There's a stream of like sort of immigrants or people looking for work. There are probably a lot of rumors in town about other adventurers who were hard pressed for coin, hard pressed for work. A lot of them were looking to dig into the lore of this area. There's probably some other rival adventuring groups, probably some less monstrous than you all. The good guys who are out there also looking for this fabled place, or here to root out any remaining evils in this haunted forest that you had to travel through to get to this place. So this is like, make up whatever the fuck you want, but we're heading in that direction. Like you've left this town or you've traveled through this forest. You're at the door to this place now.
Okay. I mean, I can, if this helps anybody, I know why I'm traveling.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in search for somebody who's killed somebody that's close to me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's less of a bond and more of like a key sort of character.
Yeah, just trying to help
point.
build the bridge here.
Yeah.
What type of creatures inhabited West Ham like 150 years ago? Was it all like human based?
I don't know. Was it? That's right.
I mean, I lived then. I was hired to basically protect the town and murder monsters. Right?
What do you think? I mean, I would say like standard fantasy fare would make it sound like that it was mostly human, maybe a few other sort of more of the common exotic races, like maybe like an elf or two. Right now, the sheriff who was left behind by this Lord Stefan and his army was a close ally of him and is an elf, an older elf, Belrain Swordsinger or some such. He is the current sort of person in charge of town. You wouldn't call him a mayor or a sheriff necessarily, but he's kind of all of that. And he's got a small force of guards, some of them former members of this army, in town with him, helping him to regulate the town. But it's kind of like this city's almost ready to burst at the seams with just like the amount of crazy traffic it's getting after this huge battle took place about a year ago here.
So Gnarl, to me, would seem super out of place and be one of those things that I was trying to slay.
Yes, a lot of you would seem fairly out of place in this town under normal circumstances, but with the current events, like, you know, I guess there's been a lot of strange characters. Again, this is open for discussion and definition. Like, I'm just putting suggestions out there.
So I want to, as one of my bonds, find the backstory of Gnarl and figure out why monsters are commonplace in Weston now.
Okay, write that shit in. And in Casey or anyone else who had bonds that they made up, if you could paste those in on your notes on your character sheet, that'd be awesome.
Oh, do we have to announce bonds?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
But they can have a secret component that you don't reveal, but I need to know like the overarching sort of structure of the bond. So anyone else bonds that we need to discuss?
I mean, I came up with bonds, but I just followed the template.
Yeah.
Where do I put bonds?
So I've just been doing it on the notes tab, that bottom right tab. You can type on it like Word. You can enter to go to new lines and put them on multiple lines. Gnarl, who are you teaching the true meaning of sacrifice?
Lorenzo, because obviously he's still alive, so he couldn't have sacrificed it that much.
Ooh, yeah, it's almost like he's a walking contradiction. He claims to be this ancient, holy paladin, but you have seen through some of his nature, and you feel like he is sort of a contradiction.
Yeah, he's like full of shit. Like, he got this get out of jail free card from some god or something, and I'm just like, that's bullshit.
I'm gonna step back and try to teach Gnarl the true meaning of sacrifice myself.
His vows and his oaths are almost comical in comparison to the suffering and the torture that you went through in order to be here and to have the gifts that you have.
I take his exact same bond. I want to show him that I have made more sacrifice.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice off. maybe you've seen the paladin do its like end of day ritual, and you kind of look at it, it's like this big facade. Like, what a joke.
Wait, can we drop bonds?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
one of us is gonna lose.
Everything's pretty malleable. Well,
okay.
It doesn't matter.
Not necessarily. We could both teach each other something new.
Yeah, nothing needs to happen like simultaneously. It can be, this happened then, and then later on something else happened. Pustus, you got all your bonds locked down, right?
Yeah, I just have those two.
That's fine. Snack, you.
I found out.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was gonna say I found out what I think one of my bonds. Remember how it was kind of confusing? I cast something into the fire for somebody, and I still owe them their due.
Yeah.
Because immolators are all about like just burning shit.
Yep.
It's kind of like
figuratively and literally.
Melisandre from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So she's just like, I'm gonna sacrifice people to the flames or like stuff, and they stare in fire and blah blah blah. So it's a symbol. Most of the time, it's symbolic to like burn a token or like a thing for someone to represent basically like an oath. So I think somebody in the party asked me for something, and I burnt something of theirs, like that they offered.
You performed like the dark ritual.
Of like now I owe somebody.
Yeah.
But I'm like basically bonded to them until I pay off that debt, whatever that debt is. And I think I want to say it's.
Was this ritual to help benefit you in some way?
No, to benefit them.
Okay.
So I think it's basically like I'm gonna do this to Pustus.
Well, do you see
Pustus
when you say
saved my life?
When you say you, okay, go on.
So Pustus saved my life, and so like I sacrificed, I'm gonna say he maybe gave me like one of his holy symbols or something, and he's like, you should carry this. I don't know, whatever like the practice that those clerics do. But
maybe he removed like some sort, like maybe there was some sort of lingering curse from like the people who tormented you that he helped remove, and sort of helped you be more normal.
Yeah, and then so now I basically owe him a life debt. And so I'm gonna say like I cast something into the fire for Pustus.
Okay, I like that.
And I owe him
a life.
Basically, like I basically owe him back, to save his life.
Okay, until you feel that you've sort of repaid something equivalent to this life value. You owe Pustus until that day comes.
Exactly.
I love that. That's cool. All right. Jeff, I'm not seeing any bond action on your thing. You got some questions on how to get that shit in there?
I typed one out.
On your character sheet?
Oh. No.
No, just in this Word document I got up on the other side.
I mean, basically, I put it in like the notes.
Yeah, you can just copy paste it onto
the
your
notes
sheet.
window.
Nice.
I told my wife about it though.
Yeah.
Well, what are yeah, there you go. Rex and I. Go ahead, read it for us, please.
I kind of want to change it.
Okay, you can.
Was it
with the hair one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that too late?
No.
All right, now it's too late.
Move on it though. You can do it.
All right.
You
In exchange for his pubic hair, I promise to use it as an ingredient in a potion that will go towards his foe.
Okay, like some sort of poison.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely feel like you got this poisoner thing going on.
Plague doctor.
They only grow pubic hair once, though, right? Like once they've grown it, like that's it.
No, that shit grows forever.
Do you have another one, or do you want to grab one from like the thief template here?
Yeah, I have a bunch from the thief template.
Okay. You can have up to 4 for now.
Okay.
No more than that. You can have less.
If something goes wrong, I know Lorenzo has my back.
Oh, okay. Is that true, Lorenzo?
I have yet to find out. I've just met these motherfuckers. I'm freshly
okay, so that might not be a valid bond yet.
Well, Fuck you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, it's gotta be agreed upon.
I just met
here.
you. I just got murdered.
So wait, are we saying that you all
can convince me.
You all were instructed to find Lorenzo at the gates or the door entry to this place, or in the haunted forest, and Lorenzo's the one that led you to this entrance that no one else has yet found in these 100 years? Or do you all have a different idea on how?
I know the way. I know the way from 150 years ago.
So maybe someone or something sort of spoke to you all in secret or in private and told you that there was this strange rusted knight in the haunted forest that you could seek out, and he would help you find this unknown lair and its entrance. Huh?
I say we didn't even seek him out. Like, he's just wandering around in the woods. Like, just running into trees and shit.
Like the way...
Like, just becoming reacquainted with the surface world again?
Oh, like I'm
out of
fresh,
character?
Fresh.
Like fresh?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Like real fresh. Like, and he becomes stinkier as the adventure progresses.
You all did, prior to heading into this forest, hear like old sort of old man tales, old rumors about how the haunted forest, like nothing stayed dead there hundreds of years ago, and occasionally the earth itself would rumble and shake, and weird things would move about in the forest and the mountains around it.
So just to give you guys a backstory, I am one of those weird things. Like, I've been buried in clay.
Out of character. Like, on appearance, you like, are you still going on the angle that you pretty much just look like this old knight?
Just to give you guys a backstory, I'm an old rusted knight wandering through the forest.
Why? So if a bunch of strangers happened upon you and you're just sort of coming to bear, being in this forest that's kind of familiar but also different, how would you present yourself? Like, do your old oath-bound paladin instincts, your chivalry, all of that stuff, does that come to surface? What kind of paladin are you? Like, how do you act when these people? How did you react when these adventurers, these strange creatures, came upon you?
You want to play it out, or do you want me to just?
Well, we can hand wave through it, but I want to know what happened. Like, how did
chivalry
you all?
First. So I'm obviously confused and super dazed. I'm just like, this is familiar, but so unfamiliar to me.
Oh, good travelers.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
still coughing.
You can help me.
There's like leeches kind of like falling off of me, like there's water gurgling up from my lungs.
This gallant but sickly seeming knight with rusted armor appeared to you all in the haunted woods while you all were seeking out this unknown lair with no luck. You've been in this haunted, crazy forest for days with no luck, and you happen upon this strange knight.
I kind of like take out my sword and try to take a knee and hold it up so I can like kind of stabilize myself, and I just immediately fall over and slump against like a tree.
Maybe you were taken aback at the crazy fire lizard, but the lizard or the cleric assured you that they meant you no harm. The lizard kind of wowed you with a story about how the cleric healed him. Maybe you offer, like, you find out what they're seeking. They're seeking this lair, and the cleric or someone else offered to assist you, back to sort of standard health.
Yeah, I couldn't defend myself.
And you said that you too were seeking this lair, and you knew the way, or some shit like that.
I'm looking for a source of magic, and I need to find the greatest source of magic in this land right now.
I believe I'll pass the line, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Any potential bonds there, or was it more of just a general agreement to help each other for now?
I don't think there's any greater bonds that I could work out that, except for if Rex is 400 years. Oh no, Gladhammer and Rex, they're 400 years old, right?
I'm about 400.
Pretty old. How old did dwarves live in this world?
Well, they live quite a long time, if I'm honest.
700.
Several hundred years.
I'm 172 for a human, so I want to try and figure out what happened between when I died and when I came back to life. I want to know about that.
Yeah, I mean, you can, as far as what you tell them, you can abstract as much as you want. Like, I'm looking for this source of magic, and
I have no idea about the Dragon Wars and all that shit. Like, I died right through it, so I want to work Rex and Gladhammer for information.
Oh, you can work me all you want to, but I was in my mind for most of that 415 years. I've got my priorities pretty squared away.
Okay. All right. So any sort of, I sent out that email. Like any sort of ideas with, like the town itself. Let me pull it up real quick, just for a little. Westham. Yeah. So were any of you from, like, were you all kind of outsiders? Were any of you from Westham, born and raised? Were you in the good army that fought the dragon army? Were you in the dragon army? Like any of that kind of, like, and we don't have to go into hyper detail, but just any sort of bullet point about, like, maybe what brought you here.
Lorenzo is super knowledgeable about the beginnings of West Ham. He was sent there to defend it, as it was just like a little baby outpost.
Yeah.
And then he died, and now it's super duper overgrown with just refugees and super big. And he has no idea like how it became like outpost to super town.
Okay. Like Pustis, did you come to Westham initially when you were looking for some bounties?
Yeah, I had heard that there was some sort of underground, like, East ring.
Okay.
In the underbelly of Westham, or Westham, whatever it's called.
Definitely has underbelly, yeah, and there's definitely like a strong sort of magic guild presence here that's been studying the strange nature of the forest and always on the lookout, but never successful for this alleged lair of the unknown wizard and fearsome Fergus, or whatever the fuck his name is.
So I'm angry at people because they're starting to believe in magic over the old gods.
Okay.
Like magic has become the religion for a lot of people, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, there's definitely maybe like a certain sect of like this local magic guild that's been causing trouble or doing things their own way lately. Maybe preaching the ways of magic and the arcane and the gifts it can provide.
Mm-hmm. I like this.
Okay, dwarfs, dwarf and half dwarf. I'm assuming you might have been together before meeting up in or around Westham recently here.
Well, yeah. Previously, we met up just by chance because I'm looking for information about anything that could be happening in the depths of the mine. That's my main goal.
Okay.
I was following the I was following the trail of someone when I bumped into him, and.
Okay.
Maybe
one of my bonds I have for some reason feel a deeper connection to him, but I'm not certain why.
Maybe
so
it's
yeah, you're half traveling to explore that.
Mm-hmm. We have the exact same beard.
Maybe we ran across each other as I was exiting, like where the entrance into the mountain is, and
it could have been like an outpost.
Yeah, you were like there in that area or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gnarl.
Yes.
Have you actually gone? Have you gone into Westham? Have you made yourself known amongst the civilized folk here, despite your strange nature?
I have. So this is where I came from. Evil wizard, right? Who was able to defeat the unknown wizard? Is that right? Am I getting that right?
There was
there was the unknown wizard, and then like the evil one,
Zamzamar
came in and fucked him up
with his iron tower. Yeah, had this other sort of ominous iron tower in the haunted forest.
So what I'm thinking is Zamzamar and his like posse of evil wizards are the ones that did the shit.
I bet Zamzavar probably was secretly had people on the inside of the good magic guild in the town. Who were there, but also his servants who would come to his iron tower and perform these dark rituals with him.
Yes. And then so when Zamzamar was defeated, I was like, maybe like I got away before that, but yeah, I'll say I got away before that.
Yeah, I'd say most of the other experiments didn't make it, or their whereabouts are unknown, but you survived. Maybe some of the better-natured mages assisted you or vouched for you in town?
That's what I'm thinking. So I get into the Mages Guild here, and they tell me that...
Hold on. What if this happened before? Because it's only about a year ago that the Dragon Army attacked and the battle took place here. What if you proved yourself... giving you a bit more of a like you might have been fine before the battle, but this battle gave you the opportunity to prove yourself to a lot of the common folk of town who found you monstrous, untrustworthy, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, making friends with people in this town. But then and definitely working with the Mages Guild. Not officially a mage or anything, but they know I'm like magical and I have this innate magical ability.
They allow you to come and go?
Yeah.
Into
and
the
then
guild?
they give me this task. They say, in order for me to get home, because that's still my goal.
Yeah.
I need to find the unknown wizard's
his
like,
lair, his stash.
Or something.
Yeah,
basically
totally.
but I want to set it up like they said they don't know how to get me home, but my best chance is to find something there.
There was,
and
maybe
there may or may not be a solution there.
There were some old notes that they recovered from like one of like the traitorous mages who kept a room at the tower in town, and there were some loose, very vague notes about like some of the magic and how the unknown wizard himself was also dabbling in similar magics to Zamzamar, and maybe that's part of the reason that Zamzamar like wanted to like find their lair, kill them, and all this such. But they ended up bringing the fight to Zamzamar in his own iron tower. Blah blah blah. They died. Their lair was lost forever until possibly now. Okay. Yep. I love all that. Love it. Cool. All right, so you kind of have a good reputation, which Snock, you a recent arrival to West Tim? Were you part of the Dragon Army? Did you show up here because you just saw this place was ripe with opportunity with all of these immigrants, all of these people? The way too many population, way too big to deal with your lawless nature, things like that.
Yes, I came here for all those reasons.
Okay. Valid.
And on my journey, I stopped in a fruitful area to collect poison supplies, and I saw a corpse rise from the ground.
Ooh.
And it was the first...
This rusted, knightly-looking thing?
Yes, and it was the first undead I had ever come across that did not mean me any harm.
And you were the first orc I ever came across.
Perhaps you stalked it for a while, unbeknownst to him. Maybe that's a fucking bond.
Yeah.
Like you know secrets about... you're the only one that really knows the paladin's true secret, like, because you stalked it for a little while.
You saw me claw out of the clay.
When you were gathering these like strange, deadly plants or materials in the haunted forest that most people wouldn't dare venture to find. You were gathering this shit up when you saw this fucking thing come out of the very earth itself, fully intact, fully armored. And your interest peaked. You tracked and stalked this thing for a little while, only to find that it was a very intelligent, seemingly almost normal, very chivalrous knight.
That is correct.
So yeah, some kind of bond with you, knowing the paladin's true secret or its true origins. How did you publicly come to meet the paladin or the other adventurers? Did you kind of have like several different parties merge in this forest, or did you all come together prior to that and then you all stumbled on the paladin collectively?
I feel like that one makes the most sense.
So like everyone but the paladin was together for some reason, and then the paladin you met in the forest while roaming about looking for this fucking
like I'm in a bad way. I'm against a tree. I'm vomiting up like sediment and
maybe
clay.
at the last outpost.
I mean, except for me, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ranger's tracking him, right?
Or it's not a ranger.
Thief.
Thief.
Thief orc.
Thief, yeah.
The green person.
I think I was with him, and this party came up on us.
Did you confront me, or did you stay off in the distance?
That's where I need you all to agree upon the scenario. So maybe the thief eventually approached the paladin in the haunted woods.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Did you? So I mean, like again, you can easily conceal your alignment from anyone. Did you kind of use your deceptive nature a little bit to like see like maybe this paladin presents an opportunity for you? This holy but naive, because like when you spoke to him or you followed him, he seemed to be a little unaware of like modern times.
I'm out of it. I'm way out of it.
Yeah, like he's like, wow, what a mark for you. Like he seems willing to trust you. You can easily deceive him, something like that. I don't know.
Yep. I love it.
Mike, breathe in a bit there, Casey. I wonder if you all don't mind the idea of this other sort of kind of shady adventurer type in town, saying that he supposedly had this map that would lead you all to the lair, and he sold it to you all. Maybe you guys had been hard pressed for, coin, etc. You paid him a decent price for this map that's so far led you nowhere up until the moment you found this paladin and this orc in the forest. Something that might present itself with retribution later, but that's kind of what led you from the town into the forest, and you've been just fucking roaming for like a couple days. Like, this was only supposed to take you like about a day to get here. You're almost out of rations. You're getting fucking hungry. This place has been creeping you out. When you happen upon these two, orc and a paladin.
You want me to go for it? I'll go for it.
Just fucking go for it.
I'm just vomiting up sediment and clay. And then I look over. Lorenzo looks over and he sees something moving in the bushes. Like, you there? Who goes there?
You all see this strange, sickly, Templar-esque knight standing next to this lithe, hooded female character. You can't really make out from a distance.
Coming out of my mask, out of my helmet.
Well, I just approach quietly and as big as a half-dwarf can.
Okay.
I like it. That's a good picture of me.
Yeah, I think
none shall pass.
Yeah.
Come back and I'll bite your leg off.
It's but a scratch.
Sickly paladin and hooded, dark-skinned female who are together. You see this this troop of just like actually, Gnarl, how tall are you? Would you say?
Oh, 6 foot.
Oh, you are pretty tall. Okay, so other than this naked, flaming reptilian humanoid kind of striding alongside, you see 3 very stout characters. One of them only half stout, a bit taller for a dwarf, but still dwarfish in features. Naked, tattooed, fire-kissed, mohawked, braided hair, and then this very strange-looking halfling character. Nestled between them, this, I don't know, this crazy-looking dwarven fighter with a hammer and only one arm.
Lorenzo unsheaths his sword and stabs into the ground to kind of stand himself up, and then slowly turns it on them, like, he's still kind of coughing up.
Well, I guess he's armed. We're gonna have to take him out.
Rex walks up and backhands the sword out of the way, and just mutters, "Weak."
The sword goes flying into the mud, and Lorenzo collapses back down onto the ground.
Well, I guess we won't have to fight him.
He's in a bad place.
He's in a bad place, he said.
So here you all are, 2 distinctly different groups, standing off in this very haunted, kind of creepy forest. There's nothing in terms of like a creature or monster encounter that's come your way yet, but there's this just unnerving sensation, crawling across all of your spines. Every minute you spend here is a minute that I imagine most of you find unpleasant. This map that you bought from this fucking guy in town has proved absolutely useless. A paladin and orc friend, you all have been aimlessly wandering here. I don't know, Snock, if you've really been able to glean what it is this paladin's looking for. You've already acquired the reagents you needed for your poisons. What remains here for you? This paladin seems to be on some sort of quest for something driven by something, perhaps something strong enough to make him rise out of the very ground. But you all come to a head, each with your own sort of needs and desires. Why don't you try to resolve those?
Well, I am a career-driven thief, and hearing about his Lorenzo's attempts to acquire a new secret kind of magic, and intrigued my own desire to acquire new potions.
So you sort of tethered yourself to him in hopes that he will just lead the way to this secret treasure trove of strange magic he spoke of.
Lorenzo crawls through the mud. He doesn't give a shit about how dirty he's getting. And he claws his way towards his sword, and he picks it up, and he slowly stands up, and he holds it really unwieldy towards the whole party.
Gnarl walks forward with his hands up and says, "What is your name, friend?"
Back, you beast! I fought worse than you!
And then Gnarl gazes intensely into his eyes and asks, "What fuels the flames of your desire?" To which you have to answer truthfully, even if you don't know or would otherwise keep it hidden.
You feel almost enchanted by the flames, the warmth that's been lost from you for so long, Lorenzo, and you can't help but feel compelled deep down within it, almost as if your god is speaking to you, to answer truthfully, which you have to do. Which you have to do.
Lorenzo takes a step back. He staggers back. He's like, "Where am I? What time is this?"
If that'll help you answer the question.
No, that's what he answers. That's what he answers.
It's 5 p.m., silly.
Oh, that's
the
gods are speaking.
Son.
the gnarled finger in Pusta's hand sort of wiggles and lets out a buzzing noise, almost as if turning and pointing through an overgrown path in the trees.
All right, so I have to answer
yes.
What is my drive?
What fuels the flames of
you
your
have
desire?
to answer the question presented by this strange fire lizard
with smoldering eyes.
I need to find out why everything's different. Why are the trees out of place? Why has the river changed its course? What's going on?
Implying that it's different to something that you already knew.
Yes.
This is a man out of his time.
He's a fish out of water. Sorry.
Lorenzo holds
You're
his
right.
sword up even higher.
Friend, we are friends. I can't answer your questions for you, but we can offer you aid. And then I dig into my pack to see if I could find a... Does he look fucked up, like he needs help?
He seems dazed, he seems a bit out of it, and yes, he does seem sickly.
You saw puke come out of my helmet.
Yeah, he puked up strange...
Here! And I pull out my healing potion, and I give it to him.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Where are you pulling this healing potion from?
My bag, I have one.
In trying to accompany this guy, wouldn't I have already attempted to do that?
I don't know.
Did you?
Well, I
Jump
think
in.
I would have. I'm
gotta
kind
jump
of
in.
intrigued if
Yeah.
decay is
Yeah. So imagine
you can't get rid of it. He's just gonna decay. No
So
matter
wait,
what.
do we see you? Are you there?
Oh,
Do you
me?
jump out of the bushes and you're like, "Don't do it! I already
standing-
tried."
Are you standing visibly with the knight?
I think I'm gonna have my back turned against the tree, and I'm just listening silently, and then
You're just gonna watch me waste the potion on it.
I casually roll around when I see that you guys have good intention.
It sounds like a great
holding out
future bond
the
to me.
potion. I'm giving him the potion right now, and you come out.
No, it's a foot from his lips.
Oh, okay.
So a brief aside, think about this since there's no turn order, no initiative, anything, right? Think about it you can attempt to interject at any point, Snot can as Gnarl's hand in the bushes. Like Snock, you can interject and be like, I step in and stop him, and I explain the situation or whatever. There's a lot of like, think about like throwing the spotlight around or like just improv acting type bullshit.
Right.
So anyway, continue.
So I casually roll around the tree and I say, hold it there, bright fella. You may want to save your health potion. This man will rot way more before that's of any good use.
Lorenzo, he swipes at the potion, but he misses.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of your gristle gets on me. Ugh.
Yeah, a little like mud splatters on you.
Well, all these
Put it back in my bag.
people are playing in the mud with this dying whatever.
Yeah.
Rex is looking around, just trying to. I feel like we're being watched. I feel like I feel like this map may have been a trap.
Well, some dude just popped out of nowhere.
There is
from behind a tree.
There has been like this lingering feeling, like you can't put your finger on it, but like your instincts, your time from like living in crazy places like this, it's that feeling that someone or something has been like watching and following you, like almost waiting for you to unveil something or waiting for you to leave yourself open.
So Rex and I have a bond, and I already have some of his hair. Does that mean we already know each other?
Now you do.
Well, you can sort of retcon that into post this meeting.
Dave's my biggest window too, so there's literally just this giant picture of you with your belating the camera screen.
Ooh.
Lorenzo stops vomiting and he kind of stands up and he feels something bad. He feels something like the last time he felt it, he died, and he starts to pray. He takes a knee and he starts to pray to the Ouroboros, like Ouroboros, Lord Serpent of the Infinity and life unlasting. What is evil in this place?
Oh, okay.
Does he answer you?
He has to.
Oh.
So let me refresh on.
He's praying.
And while he asks, I kind of roll my eyes.
This is
and
really odd.
You guys can't quite hear what I'm saying. It just comes out like
you're muttering to yourself.
Yeah,
I
it's just
slink
like,
off and I do and I want to survey the area.
Okay. Wait! This dude just pops out of the tree, tells me not to give him a potion, and slinks away? Who the fuck was that? Hey, wait! Come back! Come back here! And I chase after you.
The paladin.
Chase what he's looking at.
The paladin didn't even know that Snack was there. Like he's just praying.
All right. So truth serum moment out of character. Does anyone have an evil alignment?
I'm good.
Nope.
I'm good, baby.
I
Evil?
traded to chaotic.
No.
No. Okay. You, Sir Paladin, as if the waves of confusion and strangeness haven't stopped since you've explored this forest. You felt like there was some sort of lingering evil, but you can't really put a finger on it. Pustus.
The paladin stands up. He's weak, but he still has his sword out. He's holding it towards the newcomers. He's like, "There's great evil in this forest," and he kind of holds his sword more towards Gnarl, the flaming beast in front of him. It's like, "We need to get out of here."
As you look past the flaming beast, you've been confused. You know, things seem familiar but different. And as you look past the trees behind this strange fire lizard.
Oh wait, do we have a map?
Not yet.
Oh, all right.
In your mind.
In your mind.
In
man.
my mind.
The theater of the mind.
I love it.
As you look past, you see this overgrown trail with just these thorny, gnarled branches, and there's almost like a strange, sort of creepy ray of like gloomy sunlight piercing through the veil above, and you immediately, Lorenzo, notice a path that seemed familiar to you and seemed to remind you of the old lair that you had been seeking.
Okay. Lorenzo looks towards the newcomers. He's like, "What brings you here?" Suddenly, coming to his senses.
Well, it's certainly not you. I don't trust you one bit.
Lorenzo pops his sword up a little cautiously.
Oh, just on a pilgrimage, going from town to town, meeting people, saying hi. If you stare into the darkness long enough, sometimes the darkness stares back at you.
Lorenzo pops his sword up even higher, on guard.
Rex is just still astonished by how foolish this character is.
And Gnarl is chasing into the bushes after this mysterious stranger that just came and left.
But the light kind of dims out.
Yeah.
All right. I feel great evil in this forest, but something compels me to keep moving forward. I need to leave you guys, or you can come with me. You need to make up your minds.
I pick
I'll come
up
with you.
Lorenzo and put fireman carry him over my shoulder. Easily. Just like, maybe not even fireman carry, just like over one shoulder like this.
Yep.
What was that?
I agree.
What was that flaming beast that was with you?
That's
gnarly.
That's Gnarls Barkley. He's my best friend. I saved him.
Gnarls Barkley.
I remember when I lost my mind. That's that song,
I quickly
right?
just turn, while he's singing, I quickly turn towards the Lorenzo that I'm carrying, and I ask, which way?
Oh, you're carrying me?
There's
Yeah,
something so
picture us
special
up.
about that place.
You're under my arm.
You're under my... Lorenzo... he struggles. He struggles hard. He wants to get free.
While
Rex, I think you have the right idea. I don't trust him either. Let's go.
Which way was Lorenzo pointing initially? I'm gonna start taking him, pulling him that
Wait,
way.
do I get to try to wriggle free?
So someone's trying to grapple and restrain the knight.
Yes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm
the
gonna
person
I had my sword out and pointed at them.
you're aiding.
Oh, I'm aiding the shit out of
Okay.
my half.
Well, whoever's making the grapple attempt can roll with a +1 on their 2d6.
+1.
wait, what
How
is
do
it?
how do I add a +1?
You did it.
9.
What are we doing?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Oh, you can
What
hit the
a-
+1 mod that's underneath the rolls.
They're
Yeah.
trying to
Or-
pick me up and
You
carry
can always
me.
just do the math in our heads too. It's pretty
Trying to
Yeah,
pick
it's
you
just a
up?
simple.
Alright, I'll roll public.
So Gladhammer, with the assistance of the other more wild half dwarf, they managed to. I mean, like, how are you restraining the knight?
That's -2, by the way, because I accidentally have my charisma down there.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We don't need their help to
Okay.
-2 off that.
That's a 10 then. Oh no, it's a negative.
It'd be
It's a 9
strength.
+1. It's a 9 +1. It's a 10.
So we'll just call them the dwarves are successfully grappling and restraining you. They're too strong. There's too many. You're too weak and too fresh to really do anything. What are you doing? Well, why are you restraining him? What's your goal?
He said he wanted to continue into the forest, and he pointed at a direction. So I'm picking him up and I'm continuing in that direction.
Okay.
And call me old-fashioned, but I don't trust anything that comes out of the ground and see animated and alive.
Oh, you don't know that yet. You don't know that.
Yeah, you didn't see the coming out of the ground part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
saw
Stumbled
you
across the
retching. We saw you retching.
He seems
like
sick
clay.
to you.
I'm sorry, but there's like clay.
Phew.
You're throwing up clay. Like what?
He seems strange and sickly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So in the process of that, I lead Gnarls in a full circle of confusion back to the party. And when I hear Gladhammer say that, I call out to him, "Isn't that how dwarves are born?
From the clay.
From the clay."
I'm sorry, are you talking
I
to
don't
me?
like that. That's a really sore subject for Rex.
Oh.
That was
shit.
not smart move. Orcs.
Rex was banished from his home for the similar thought.
So you guys hear these cutting words, and you've been sort of like grappling and just pushing this knight forward down the path that he seemed to unveil.
I dropped Lorenzo's head because I was carrying his top half, and I walked towards Snack.
I'd drop his legs and follow.
Okay.
The knight, 170 years old.
As you drop him, and look towards these cutting words, there's this clanking sound of like metal on top of something hollow, and like this rumbling, grinding noise coming from beneath the recently dropped paladin. The ground, the earth, the dirt seems to sort of rumble and kind of shake and rattle away as if some strange lever has just been hit, and the overgrowth, the vines, the trees all around you kind of part, and there's this strange symbol of an eye coming out of the ground as the dirt rustles and shakes away. Strange bricks and cobblestones are kind of rising up beneath you, and you all do everything you can to keep from falling as this strange temple almost appears out of the darkness of the forest. The forest has kind of just revealed it to you.
Whoa, what is this? Some kind of dungeon world?
Oh my.
Oh my. It might take
I'm
a
kinda
second
cuckoo.
to load.
I got this. Picture's
Hey,
huge.
while it's loading,
Uh-huh.
down the bottom left there's that modifier button.
Yeah.
You can gray it out, you can make it black. I don't know what the hell those means. Let's see.
So on your character sheet, for instance, on your main page, you see how like there's like all those plus minus things. So those will automatically. So at the normally when you haven't rolled anything, there should be like it should just say 0 modifier down there.
It says 0 adjusting.
Yep. So you can click like one of your stats that has like a plus or minus. Like click that button, and it will put the modifier on so that your next roll adds that modifier in.
That's what I did. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
And then you should see that number in the
tropics.
box.
Oh my.
That's why I had that.
So did the map actually load for everybody?
Yeah.
It did.
Did.
Yes.
Hot. Well, we had to get through a lot of stuff. It was 6 longer than we expect. But here we are. The cutting words, the dropped sickly paladin, the rising sort of revealing temple, and its entrance have have sort of made itself known to you. I don't know if we want to try to hold there.
I gotta go right now.
Yeah.
But
No!
you go.
Well, we got through the hard part.
Yeah.
Did it just appear from nowhere, or was it always there
Came
and the
up-
entrance just revealed itself?
It's the entrance revealed itself. So if you imagine like the dirt kind of parted, the vines and trees kind of parted and wilted away a bit, it's almost like pulling a curtain back. The overgrowth kind of parted ways a bit, and you can imagine like a really thick forest around you too here.
This is a fun group. I'm liking these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I vomited pretty hard.
You do that's basically every character you play's thing is you.
Oh,
vomit
that's true.
something.
I do vomit either black slugs or I vomit
Ichor
clay.
or clay. Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to change anything like character sheet wise or art wise or whatever, just let
I
me know.
don't vomit anymore.
I've gone to shitting. I shit clay.
Yeah, I just poop. I poop myself real hard.
Sorry, guys. It happened again.
I'm gonna pick a different accent. I can't keep
Okay.
this up.
I like your accent. I thought
Your
Is it-
accent's way better. I feel like we're too close.
it's like Olaf. I like it. You're like, hello. I don't know.
Is it too far fetched that
Not Olaf.
right as Rex dropped Lorenzo and started walking towards me, as he got closer, and was illuminated by Norl, who was within close distance of me. I
Most things
recognized
would
him,
be.
and I said, "Rex, is that you?" And then that's when the the eye came up through the
Yeah.
earth.
Oh, like you already knew each other before this, and now you're
Yeah.
just reuniting
Oh.
Yeah,
under weird circumstances.
Under very strange
Exactly.
circumstances.
yeah.
Yeah, that's possible as long as Rex is into it.
I want to know why you parted ways to begin with. Was there bad blood? Did someone else had dead?
Was there blood?
Yeah,
Was
I
there
mean,
blood involved? Did a deal go down and someone got jailed in Cairo? What happened?
Well, Rex still has his testicles, so he wasn't the guy who tried to rape me.
You mean your Rexticles?
Whoa! Play on words.
Is this like a bumblebee tuning your balls or showing? Like, how do you know I still have my testicles? I mean, I
Bumblebee
do.
tuna?
How do you know?
Your balls are showing. Yeah.
Your balls are showing.
Bumblebee tuna!
Showing.
Man, I watched clips from The Cable Guy the other day. That movie
Yeah.
is so good.
Is
It's an underrated gem.
I don't remember it.
No, they're playing porno password with his parents, and he's like, "The password is nipple," and his tongue like enunciates the L on nipple so well. Oh my god, it's hilarious. Because we're going to
just skin, Michael.
Just skin, Michael. Yeah, we're going to medieval times at work tomorrow, and man, I had to rewatch that scene where he's like, "It's like when Kirk fights Spock," and he's like,
I have to watch this movie again.
I was dying. It's good stuff. Hey, thanks for this, Fiddy. It was fun.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
I was hoping we'd get a little bit into it, but you know, this is how this shit goes.
I gotta
man.
find a sexy orc voice.
Always next week.
I'll
Yeah.
get one
Yeah.
for you. It's like I got those images of orcs for you.
The short people are making a human ladder and climbing up the temple.
You know what we're doing?
That reminds me. Did you guys see Storks?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
It was
Yeah?
good. Yeah.
It
Wasn't
I
it
watched
Sweetland? Didn't you do it?
Yeah, Doug Sweetland
Yeah.
directed it. I watched it on